for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
This track has a rich and storied history. Tonight's race will write a new chapter. 2 drivers locked in, 6 trying to fight for the last 2 spots. This is their last chance to position themselves to race for the Chapman Environmental Services Cup. Let the battle begin. Live from Martinsville, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. I'm your host and producer tonight, Morgan Cook. Alongside me, as always, Alex Gagnon up here in the booth. You are watching V-Speed.
It's going to be a fun one tonight. Martinsville, always a tough track, and with so much on the line, yeah, you got to imagine there's going to be some tempers flaring after this one.
Tempers flaring indeed. We welcome you into the Gilby 250 presented by Chapman Environmental Services. Should be a fun one here at Martinsville tonight. We got to talk about points. That's what we're all here for right now. A look at them. 2 drivers locked in. Burns and Rader, the dominant drivers all season long. Thorpe, Linz, Travis Gilbert, Trevor Keith, Caleb Gilbert, and Justice Murphy are going to try and do their best tonight to grab those last 2 spots. Stage points going to be paramount. Good finishes going to be paramount. They're going to have to do everything they can to finish ahead of each other. It's going to be a difficult task to do that here in Martinsville, of course, but it's going to be a fun one. Make sure you comment in the chat who you're cheering for here tonight, and let's see if they can get an interview at the end of this race for making it into the Final 4.
And it's really, really narrow around that cut line. No one above the line should feel all that safe coming into tonight. And if you're Travis Gilbert, you should feel pretty confident about your ability to get in. But if you're Trevor Keith, Caleb Gilbert, or Justice Murphy, I mean, this is looking like you really need to make something special happen here tonight if you want any chance to advance.
I can't overstate this enough. An entire season comes down to 250 laps here at Martinsville. Let's talk about that racetrack. Alex, shortest racetrack that we go to, short of the Clash. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, when it comes to actually fighting for points, this is the smallest. It's also the oldest. It was back on the NASCAR schedule. Its inaugural season, and it has never left, and for good reason. The racing here at Martinsville, always some of the best in the series when it comes to short track racing. A little 11-degree banking in the corners is not a whole lot. Means you'll get on the brakes a lot today. And with how short the track is, not only will you be getting on the brakes hard, you'll be getting onto them often. It is really a rhythm track more than any other with how often you have to get into the braking zone, hit your marks, and come out of the corner, maintaining some sense of throttle because there is no straightaway to regain speed if you get a bad exit. If you do not establish a rhythm early, you are going to get run over because there is nowhere to hide.
Yeah, 2 drag strips with 2 tight, concrete-laden, 180-degree corners. This track was dirt, then it was pavement, and those big, heavy cars in the 60s and 70s tore it up so much they had to repave it once every couple races. They said, to heck with that. Concrete it is, and that's why you have the unique corners here with the multiple different compounds. But one driver so far today has done a better job than the rest at figuring out how to get around this racetrack. It's time for your Coastal Financial Pole Award winner. How about Devin Hudgens lapping this racetrack in a very quick manner? Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Congratulations, Devin Hudgens, for being not 19th. He did win the pole here tonight. Congratulations to him for that.
That is going to need to update in just a moment.
There it is.
There we go.
There we go. And let's get down to the grid. It's going to have to be a quick one here tonight. Not a lot of time here around Martinsville.
Rapid fire grid time.
Starting on the pole, Devin Hudgens with a 19:28. Travis Gilbert alongside him starting in second. Third spot tonight, Grant Thorpe in the 77. Alex Forget starts in fourth. Fifth spot, Trevor Keith in the blue chrome, number 15. Carter Linz in sixth in the 66. Seventh spot at the grid will belong to Caleb Gilbert, potential playoff driver. Daniel Holloway starts in eighth. In your top 10, Nick Alves in the 24, Tyler Harrison in 10th in the 45.
Rolling off in 11th, it is Justice Murphy needing a win here tonight. Chris Nail rolls off in 12th. Parker Johnston going to roll off in 13th tonight in the 48. Dylan Picklesheimer at his outside in 14th. Row 8, we'll see the 00 of Christian Bresnock and the 39 of Grant Turner. Kevin Orlando Jr. rolls off 17th tonight alongside Michael Bennett. And rounding out the top 20, it is going to be Jeremy Burns in the 9, Brandon Richardson in the 8.
Your final 7 look like this. Matt Robinson will start 21st. Christopher Schaefer in 22nd. 23rd, Trevor Erhardt. Not letting him take a time. Neither did Rob Rader. 25th will be Kyle Diaz. 26th, James Loveland. 27th on the grid will be Joe Joya. That is your field here tonight. We did a pretty good job. We are just now rounding turn 3 and 4. There will be one more pace lap. Thank goodness. Thank you, admins. Let's have a chat about your race analysis. 250 laps tonight, half distance of the race we saw on Sunday. Hopefully less controversy in this one, but that remains to be seen. Pit road speed, 35 miles an hour around this very long pit road. 5 tire sets available. I don't think they'll use all of them, but you never know. 2 green-white checkers on tap here tonight if things get a little bit wild. 80 to 90 laps on fuel. We'll have to pit a couple times. Fixed setup, stage break at lap 65. Pace car should make that left-hand turn right there. We're about to get racing here for the penultimate race of the season. I can't believe I just said that. What a season it's been.
What a season that's been indeed.
Green flag is out. We're racing to Martinsville. From the pole, Hudgens is going to lead the first lap here tonight.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit trouble getting going. The line stacked up just a hair, but he was able to drive it really nice through 1 and 2. Able to open up that gap and got him some separation. Travis Gilbert going to hold on to second. Thorpe slides in to third. Trevor Keith going to be in there in fourth before Jet rounding the top 5 through the opening couple laps. And you see the field already trying to single file out here. The quickest way around this track is hugging the apron. You never want to give someone the inside if you can help it.
But don't you dare touch that curb, because that thing will wreck the whole field.
Oh, yeah.
That's like an 8-inch curb. It doesn't look like it's too bad, but that is a race ender right there. Damage already on the nose of the 43. See it off the back
And
bumper
the
here,
39.
Michael Bennett.
Both of those guys got caught up in the stack up.
Turner's
on
got
the,
some as
The
well.
opening, yeah, they both got caught up in the stack up in the opening drop of the green flag. And already a bit of damage. Matt Robinson got way down to the inside wall there off of 4. Not sure what happened there, but that was definitely not the entry or the exit off the corner that he was looking for that time around.
I've heard from drivers already, opening this race, that this thing was going to be snappy loose off of 2 and off of 4. And I think we just saw it there with the 1. The first battle in the field is for 13. You got Nail in the 88, Christian Bresnock in the 00. No driver has had a more difficult year than Chris Nail in this series. He has left a session early about 85% of the time here this season. Hate to see it, but hoping for a better night here in Martinsville.
It's also tough when you have to rely on Martinsville to bring some stability to your season. Usually the short track's not really where you want to bank. Making sure you're going to finish all the way to the end of the race here, with just how quickly things can bottle up.
There
It
goes
sounds like the
Forget.
caution's out. Forget's around.
That 19 is around on the racetrack. They all avoid him? Yes, they do. Let's see what got him turned around. So no pressure in front or behind. I think it's just a little snappy loose off of 4. It absolutely was. Good job of locking it down. Let's ride on board. Maybe we'll be able to see exactly what happened here. This is the lap before.
He had some good pace today, qualified in the top 5, was running 5th at the time of the spin. And to your point, there was no assistance. It was just the car stepping out on him as he tried to get off of 4 with a little too much throttle.
Yeah, so you can see part of it. He's running 3rd gear, nothing wrong with that. But that'll get you a little bit extra wheel spin, a little bit more drive off the corner. And if you hit it just wrong, you'll loop it right around. You don't have that extra forgiveness of 4th or 5th gear. I don't think any driver's touching 5th gear unless you're going to save fuel here today. But around goes the 19. He's going to have to work through all of that traffic. He's back to 24th. One driver off the pace so far, Joe Joya. 27th. He's 5 laps down. Everybody else is on the lead lap. 2 drivers hit pit road that time. Burns and Diaz. The 9 and the 26 respectively. Of course, Burns is locked in, so no real reason to put yourself in any kind of danger, as is Rob Rader in 20th. I heard from Rob earlier before the race started that his plan was to ride around in the back for most of this race, let the race play out, and then make his charge at the end. Again, no reason to put yourself in any sort of situation, make any enemies for next week at Phoenix, because him and Burns will for sure be racing for a championship. The other 2 yet to be determined. So, Alex, you've been known to be a bit of a driver here on
A
iRacing.
little bit. Occasionally.
What kind of success have you had at the track they call Martinsville?
I will chalk it up to extremely limited. In the sense of I own just about every oval track there is to have in this simulation, both needed as a driver and as a broadcaster. And tonight we rolled up to the old studio here on V-Speed, and I said, why can't I open the session? And lo and behold, did not own Martinsville. So I guess I can quantify my experience with Martinsville as a driver as I was awful at it in NASCAR 08.
Yeah, NASCAR 08, I believe, was the one where you could really do the Chastain up against the outside wall. A lot of speed there.
Oh, you betcha.
Although, if you turned the car to the right, it would just barrel roll forever,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Interesting physics
That
in that
would be
game.
the one.
But
Yeah.
my experience here, not much better. I've had very limited success here at Martinsville. I did own the track, though. That is something
That's a
that is
step
true.
in the right direction.
It
That
absolutely
for
is.
sure.
And here we go.
First
First
step,
restart
showing
of the day. Big launch. Hudgens will easily clear for the lead.
Yeah, he will, and it's not going to be an easy run for Gilbert in the second. Thorpe going to fight his way past Caleb Gilbert for third, and that's where Trevor Keith's getting into the mix as well. Carter Lynn's just behind Alves. All the playoff drivers trying to fight their way in are all into the top 10 now. Justice Murphy up there in 8th as well. It is going to be quite the party up here in just a moment.
Carter Lynn's having some sort of connection issue. Doesn't look like it's affecting anybody too badly here, but a lot of drivers stuck side by side right now. This is one track
Caution's out.
where you do not want to be side by side. Richardson, it was the 8 machine, doing his best Kyle Busch impression. I'm sad too, believe me. Anyway. I got a little help here. He definitely, there's some sort of netcode issue there because those cars are not supposed to occupy the same place. And yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know what else to say about that, but that's just not supposed to happen.
Yeah, you know, typically we talk about a lot of racing incidents, not necessarily an incident blamed on one person or another, but like racing incidents when two people go for kind of the same real estate at the same time. And usually that ends pretty immediately because, you know, collision physics tend to be a thing. But right there, not at all, as Alex Forget rolls on up to share a cup of tea with Richardson inside the cockpit before the 8 goes around into the outside wall.
Yeah, that's one for the bingo card here today.
Yeah, that was, you know, we were expecting Martinsville to potentially bring out some yellows, as short tracks and iRacing can do from time to time. And so far we're getting that, but we've gotten a self-spin and then just iRacing deciding that, yeah, cars can coexist inside of one another. That's fine.
Yeah, that was
So a couple of weird ones so far.
That was interesting, definitely. But what this is helping is fuel mileage. That 80 to 90, call it 100, is where you can make it to now. So from here, probably going to be a one-stopper, potentially the edge of a two-stop strategy to get you to the end here. You know, a few drivers are already playing that fuel strategy game. We've seen Burns on pit road, Erhardt and Diaz. Will anybody stop by pit road this time? I don't believe so. Might actually be closed right now. That could be part of the issue.
Yeah, lights still on there. The red lights just outside of pit road, so maybe it'll open up this time around.
I've seen a few drivers with some connection issues. Obviously, the server having some sort of issue. We just saw 2 drivers occupy the same place. I've seen both Alves and Linz have issues so far today with their connection. So curious to see if that's still a story later in the show here.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not gonna be. There's been a couple of races I've done within the past couple of weeks where there was a server issue that disconnected about 6 drivers with 20 laps to go in the race and ruined the race for a number of contenders up at the front of the field. And it became a whole mess for that league to try and sort out how they were going to handle it. because there was nothing that the drivers did. It was literally iRacing servers like crashed for half a second and disconnected like a third of the field.
Yeah, it
So hopefully,
definitely,
knock on wood, no issues here tonight.
it definitely happens. Remember, we saw that at Nashville with our rain delay issue that we had. Put us behind the 8 ball by about 45 minutes, but we were able to get it up and running. Pretty soon here, in about a corner's time, be back racing here again. Hudgens and Gilbert on the front row. Into the zone again. Hudgens with another phenomenal launch.
Trevor Keith got a decent launch on the outside there in the second row. He's going to have to try and find a way to hold on to that spot from the outside. It's a tall order, but he at least put himself in contention here, door to door with Thorpe in 3 and 4.
There is Trevor Keith, going to slide into 4th spot. Now it's just about settling in, logging laps.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, you can't win a race at Martinsville when it's only lap 22. You certainly can lose it, though, if you're not paying attention. So at this point, you just kind of try and get comfortable, trying to get into some sense of rhythm. You don't need to start moving people out of the way necessarily. You still have plenty of time to work your way through the field. If they make a mistake, you know, run a little high in one of the corners, or maybe get a piece of that curb, you can slide on by on the inside. So you see Schaefer there, gets a piece of the wall.
Really easy here to catch the wall up in turn 2 and turn 4. It's almost like Dover in that regard. The line just gets so wide up against the outside wall. As we had a battle for the lead here. The 22.
That we do.
Taking a shot at it, and he's going to go complete that pass into turn number 1. Travis Gilbert, new leader, and that should put a little bit of fear into those drivers below the cut line.
It also should be putting a little bit of fear into Carter Linz, who came into today above the cut line by 2 points. And while he's currently running in the 6th position, the only other driver ahead of him who's not locked in is Thorpe, who was in 3rd. And now with Gilbert leading, that does provisionally bump him up to 3rd, Thorpe running in 4th, and then they'll drop Linz down to 5th below that cut line, even though he's running pretty good at the moment. So, you know, still plenty of time in this race, but if you're the 66, that is when the alarm bell goes off a little bit, and you're like, all right, yeah, I got to find a way to get up there and get into the mix a little bit.
And as we did at the Roval, we're going to have Alex here on mathematician duty. He'll grab out the pen and paper and Excel and figure out what the points look like as we get closer to the end of this race after the stage is concluded here in about 35 laps.
Absolutely.
Do our best
Got
to keep
the
you
old
updated.
calculator ready.
Good. That's what we like to hear. These two drivers are pretty racy. Loveland, Schaefer going to lock it up down into turn number 3. Oh, Raiders in the outside wall. 16th. Everybody single filed out right now.
Looks like Travis Gilbert starting to pull away just a little bit from Devin Hudgens. The gap now about a second. The 84 continues to back up the 77 a little bit. Those are the only 2 cars really tracking down the 22 with any sort of pace. It starts to really fan out behind them, and everything starts getting stacked up. Once you get to about the 8th on back or so is where you really see the field start to group up. And as we jump on board with the 21, a Holloway cautions out, Schaefer's around.
Quick spin for the 23, no harm, no foul. Just track position lost. Let's go check it out here. This is off of 2, half a lap away. Yeah, he takes quite a shallow entry into the corner. That causes a lot of wheel to be in that car. So he didn't actually spin, just rather than driving it back in front of traffic, he locked it down. Good move. Appreciate that, Mr. Schaefer, not ruining other people's races. Let's ride on board.
So he makes his way off of 2 here, no problems. In line here behind Robinson and Loveland. And very similar to the incident with Forget back on lap 10. Just tries to get to the throttle a little bit too fast coming off of turn 4, and that'll do it.
That'll do it almost every time here at Martinsville. We mentioned at the top of the show, it's 2 drag strips and then 2 concrete corners where the car's not love to accelerate, doesn't like to slow down either. Very difficult racetrack, requires an immense amount of precision and patience to not hit that curb, to not slide up. You're only working with about 3 feet of variability in the line before you start completely missing the corner, missing the apex. One of the most difficult racetracks on the service, and definitely one of my worst ovals, period. Such a difficult racetrack for me personally, and a lot of other drivers feel the same way.
Yeah, it is just, it's so tough because you have to do it so often. You know, you can nail it 99.9% of the time, but this track with just how many laps you're on and how often you spend your time turning, it is so easy to just have one slight lapse in judgment coming off the corner, and then you put yourself behind the 8 ball for the rest of the day trying to work your way up. Because passing here is not easy.
And driving it is one thing. It's an entirely different thing to actually save tires here, because if you turn too hard into the corner, you hurt the right front. If you accelerate too hard off the corner, you hurt the right rear, and all of a sudden you have no drive off, you've got no entry speed, and then all your problems compound because you need to drive harder to go faster, and then everything gets worse, and it's a never-ending cycle, much like the conveyor belt style racing we see here. You just cannot ever seem to get away from it here at Martinsville.
No, you really can't, and that's why you need to be dialed in here 100% of the time versus a lot of tracks where, you know, you get to like a 2-miler, like a Michigan or an Auto Club or something. You know, obviously you got to be locked in for anytime you're going through the front stretch and those corners, but you get to the back straightaway and you can very much for a split second kind of take your mind off of things. You're just driving for a little bit there in a straight line, no real thoughts to be had, but here it is just a constant barrage of stuff you need to be aware of 24/7. You can't let your guard down for a second.
Absolutely. Quick race recap for you. 3 cautions, 1 lead change. The 22 took it away from the 84. We are 36 laps into 250 here at Martinsville. The 3rd restart of the day. The outside line seems to be the place to be. Another big launch for the leader. Down into turn number 1. See the entire field barrel in there. That's a terrifying thought for being in front of all those cars.
Oh, yeah.
Right on board with Nick Alves. Up in 7th here, trying to make hay on the outside. Not sure they'll get there with wall contact. Carter Lynn's in the inside. Precarious situation. Hard to defend that position.
That's the thing, you get kind of stuck on the outside here at Martinsville, and the only thing you can do is do your best to try and hold on to whoever's here inside and hope that there's a gap to slide into just behind him. It is really tough to make any forward headway on the outside. There's not enough banking and not enough speed to be carried through the corner to really make a second groove here at Martinsville, so you're kind of just stuck and waiting for a moment of opportunity as Linz and Alves almost make contact there off of 4. Holloway's got a great view of it, and the caution's out once again. Big incident off of 4.
Yeah, Forget was in it again. Chris Nail. So his season not going to turn around here at Martinsville. And a lap down, both the drivers will go, oh, Forget, that tire not turning. That is not what he needed to see. Another loose situation on his own, caught Loveland, and then he got nailed by Chris Nail.
That he did.
Let's ride on board here with the 88. And folks, if you're feeling squeamish from lunch, might want to look away for this one.
You certainly might. This won't be the highest speed collision you'll see in this series, but doesn't make the impact any less violent. Jump on board. Here's Chris Nail going in 3 and 4. You see Forget sideways there, snaps into the outside wall and just can't get down fast enough. It'll spin around the 19.
He got him, that's for sure. And that car is destroyed.
Oh, you bet it is. And he's not the only one. The 19 torn up as well. You see the 39 of Grant Turner on pit road. Schaefer, Forget.
I think that is the first time I've ever seen the fuel cell in one of these next-gen cars. That's a new one for me. I've never seen the back end fall off these cars before. At least not like that.
What's odd is that he's still got the bottom part of it there. It's all the middle bit of the bumper cover that's just gone.
Yeah, he's got the push. He's got the push bar, but he doesn't have the sheet metal or the composite to cover it. Yeah, definitely a violent hit there for Forget, and that might be day over for driver 19. Little pitting recap. Rob Rader in 16th, Jeremy Burns in 17th, and everybody behind them has hit pit road, other than James Loveland in 22nd. Everybody in front of them, Bresnock, Orlando, all the way up to your leader, Travis Gilbert, they have yet to hit the pit lane. The strategy starting early here. A couple drivers on pit road right now, including Loveland and Erhardt. Christopher Schaefer just pit 1 lap ago. Everyone just trying to find their way through this one. 4th caution of the day already here at lap 45, so 20 to the stage. Let's remind everyone at home of the fuel mileage here, about 80 to 90 laps on fuel. That's half the tank for what we normally get. So we'll still have an interesting fuel strategy to the end of this one, and fuel has been a concern at times throughout this season. Think back to Michigan, to Pocono, among others. Vegas had that as well. I think Kansas did. A lot of racetracks.
Come up a couple times, and it's been a good enough amount where it's definitely always a factor that these guys should be considering, but not enough where it's been like every race has had people coming across the lines and fumes. So, especially with the way this race is going so far, I don't know if we'll see that crazy long green flag run to the end, and you need to be there, but we could see some people trying to extend their window longer than they should, banking on some yellow flag laps to calm it down. That very much I could see happening today.
Definitely could. Green again. Three wide further back in the field. That's not what you want to see. Grant Turner just rocketed around a couple cars there.
And on the outside here, someone was crazy wide. Now smoke kicking up in turn 1. Caution's out. Who is that in the wall? That is Nick Alves and Michael Bennett.
What happened there? Might say that a lot today.
Yep, something tells me you might be right.
So off turn 4 where this happened. See, Alves got a little bit out of shape. Yeah, just a 3 wide situation that I don't know if the 14 realized they were 3 wide. Nothing that Alves could do. I don't think the damage is too severe on either of those machines. Just unfortunate incident there. That's right on board with the 24. As he was up here in the top 10.
Yeah, he was. He'd been running there all evening long. You see he gets way up the track here in 3 and 4. The outside wall, you see Bennett, and yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Bennett kept coming up the track and just was not clear yet up 24.
Yeah, just nothing you can really do if you're, I mean, kind of either driver. I mean, obviously, Bennett had the 21 to his inside, so not a ton of room to the inside of that 14, and obviously Alves up on the high line. No way he could avoid it either, so again, just another one of those unfortunate Martinsville incidents. We've already seen a handful of them today. Hoping we can get it clean and green. So work lap 50.
Saw someone joking before this race, trying to figure out what the over-under would be on cautions. And as a joke, they were saying 27.5. And we've got 5 and 50 laps, so if this were to keep up, we would get probably a little bit closer than they'd like.
And the V-Speed odds makers, picking a nice close number. If this average continues on, of course, I don't expect it to. At some point, even in that New Hampshire race we had earlier in the season, which was the most caution-plagued race of the year, there was still a 70-plus green flag run in that race, even with all of the cautions there. I expect them at some point today to be able to sort it out, but it will not be after this restart, as we will throw a caution for sure around lap 65, and that will pay points. There's going to be some happy drivers and some unhappy drivers, depending on where they finish out that stage.
It's also worth noting probably that if the caution were to come out within the 5 laps leading up to the stage, that will be considered the stage break. And since we've had a bit of yellows to start this race, definitely a plausible outcome here, so something to keep an eye on. If there's a caution anytime between laps 60 and 65, that would also be counted as the stage. If not, whenever they hit stage or lap 65, that will just be the scheduled stage break.
I also want to bring up team points. While the Drivers' Championship will be decided next week, the Team Championship will be decided today. Element X Racing versus OMT Racing. Basically, the highest finishing drivers of the day are going to get that Team Championship. We'll have to see who it is. We're going to try and have an interview with those drivers at the end of the race, time permitting. So stay tuned for that to crown our first champion of the season here tonight. Once again, the high line, the chosen line for your leader. Once again, a great jump. I gotta wonder, though, if you keep doing that same thing, when will the inside line figure it out?
Yeah, that'll be the question. When do you get the timing right? There's only so much restart zone you can work with here at Martinsville. When you start getting multiple restarts, you really throw things on its head. See here, Grant Thorpe and Trevor Keith, these two guys have been battling for third all evening long, and it has been consistent between the 7, 7, and the 15. The 15 continues to try and find a way around it.
Oh, caution's out again. 14's around. That time caught Richardson and Alves, I believe, are both involved in that accident.
Take a look here and see what happened. Michael Bennett on the high side there on the 14. Schaefer gets down to the inside, just a little bit of a tap.
Got a little help there.
Yeah.
Hate that for
Didn't
the
look
8.
like it was. Didn't look like it was a huge bit of contact, but it was enough, I guess, to get the 14 off balance and sideways and eventually into the 8 of Brandon Richardson.
See if we can go back and watch it from the turn 3 camera. Kind of saw the contact right there. Yeah, just two drivers fighting for the same spot. Seen it all night, and we'll probably continue to see it here. Such a tight track here in Martinsville.
It really is, and that's the thing, at a track this small, an incident like that where there's just a little bit of a tap to send someone off balance may not be throwing a yellow. It might slide down, off, and away from the racing surface, but here in Martinsville, where the entire track is racing surface because there's not a whole lot of it to begin with, tends to bring out a yellow just about every time.
Certainly it does. We've now seen everybody except for the top 8 hit pit road in this race. Gilbert, Hudgens, Thorpe, Johnston with the T, Linz, Holloway, Picklesheimer, Orlando, the drivers, yet to cross the pit entrance line. Everybody from Raider in 9th on back has made their trip to pit road, including Grant Turner, who's been on there 3 times so far in the race. Most pit stops for those keeping track at home. Trevor Erhardt has pit 4 times, most of them for fuel. In that 41, trying to play the long game here.
Yeah, with the fuel window being about 80 to 90 laps, with the amount of caution we've had, it's going to look a lot closer to 90 than 80.
Right. Probably
you
closer
can
to
get 180 out of
110
the
at this
Yeah.
rate, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if he is topped off on fuel, he would only need to pit one more time to make it to the end of the race. So maybe that is the move here that he's going for, is trying to keep himself off of pit road as often as possible in the later part of this race.
So my understanding here is we're going to go green-white checker for the stage, and then have that stage caution is my understanding of what's going to happen here. I could be wrong about that, but
Mathematically, that does make sense.
because we didn't have that caution between laps 60 and 65, it happened at 58. So I think we'll re-rack it and try again. I think we just had to
believe
choose,
you're right.
actually, so I think you're right. I think we're right here. Every now and then, the V-Speed booth gets one right.
Usually you. Very rarely am I
Hey.
pulling something correct out here.
I don't know. We do what we can up here.
I got one thing right, and that is points, and that is usually about the end of it.
I can't believe this is the 33rd race of the season, and that I've been here, I think, for 31 of them. It's been an unreal season. So glad to be part of this. And another restart here at Martinsville, penultimate race of the season. He waited a little bit that time,
He did.
but the 48 timed it very well. Parker Johnston to second for the moment.
Gonna try and roll that outside on the 84. Not an easy thing to do here at Martinsville, but they'll stay door to door. Grant Thorpe lurking just behind him, trying to squeeze his way on through as well. Side by side, a little deeper in the field, Orlando and Picklesheimer. But right now, the action is on for second.
Raiders cracked the top 9 as well. Yeah, Thorpe looking for that spot. Oh, Orlando's in the outside wall. Got moved up there a little bit. Gonna get some more help. There he goes.
Oh, and he's sent around, and so is Schaefer.
That's gonna bring
That's
up the
gonna bottle the
caution.
thing up.
And that is the stage.
That is indeed the stage.
Mark it down. Travis
And,
Gilbert wins the stage, and he needed those points dearly. That's 10 to him.
Oh, yes, he did.
Devin Hudgens in second. Grant Thorpe got third. Oh, Schaefer still trying to get turned back around here. Parker Johnston fourth. Carter Linz in fifth needed the points. Holloway, Picklesheimer, Burns, and Rader, they did not need the points, but they got them anyway. And Harrison rounds out your top 10. Let's go see what happened there. We saw it live, but let's go back another time here and catch what happened at the 23 and company. So 54 and 24. So 27's kind of off the racing groove a little bit. Oh yeah, it was a 27. That's right. Got some help from the 54, and got Schaefer turned around. Trevor Keith got very lucky with all of that. Let's ride on board with the 15, who gave up stage points to pit early. We'll see if that is a strategy that works out for him. Check out a replay here.
Yeah, I think they're realizing that this is a must-win situation at this point with all the guys ahead of them getting stage points. So they're going to try and do something different at least and give themselves a chance. But look at how close this was. Oh my goodness, he split the gap.
Yeah,
What a move from the 15.
the seas parted there. That might just be the moment that we look back on at the end of this race and say that was the defining moment of the season for Trevor Keith. Because it's not too early in the season. It's not too early in the race to start having that mindset that every situation, every scenario could be the one that puts you in or takes you out of running for a championship. We've got less than 200 laps to go. And once that checkered flag flies, we will set the field that is going to race for the championship next week at Phoenix. We've completed every race except for the final two, Martinsville and Phoenix. It's been a wild ride. And it essentially for 6 of these drivers going to come all down to this. There are the
So
points.
right now, I'm about to say, these are the points coming into today. Doing a little bit of math here on my end to get the updated points from the stage. Things looking a lot better for Travis Gilbert with the stage win. That actually flips him above the cut line on Carter Linz. He's now 2 points clear of the 66. Grant Thorpe remains 10 points above the cut line at a provisional 30.86 to Travis Gilbert's 30.78 and Carter Linz's 30.76. So right now, Linz now on the outside looking in, and 3 drivers there, 6th through 8th. No stage points for them, so that gap gets only bigger and basically puts them in a must-win situation here tonight in Martinsville.
Yeah, Keith, Gilbert, and Murphy for Wentz, the stage points. They will cycle up near the front. So we see the Element X teammates once again leading another restart. Only said that about 40 times this year. Probably more than that, in fact. Let's see how these 2 drivers fare. They went at the same time. Oh my goodness. What's going to happen here into turn number 1? Burns going to get the spot over Rader. Both of them locked in. Well, we were talking a few weeks ago about how many laps Burns has led this season, how many races he's led laps in. Add one more to the list.
Would not be a complete race if the 9 and the 53 didn't make their way to the front at some point. 3 wide there with Alves, Bentley, Gilbert. Parker Johnson also washing up the track.
And Johnston got used up.
Personnel.
He lost a lot of spots.
There is smoke somewhere. Someone got either locked up or pushed up there in 3 and 4 just ahead of the 48.
And we are fighting and scrapping and clawing throughout this field right now. Playoff driver's going to get back to the front. Bresnock's around in front of the field.
And that will bring out the caution. Multiple cars collected in that one. Looks like Trevor Erhardt, Carter Linz trapped behind the 00. Not what he needed.
Yeah, didn't get any damage there. We were able to see him come to a complete stop. Oh, that was close. He just about got hit by the 41. Golly. Let's check this one out here.
Tough sledding right now for the 66.
Yeah, Bresnock just got around, and the 21 and 41 spun to avoid. Good job on the brake pedal for Carter Linz. Let's go check it out from Bresnock's angle again.
Watching here from the sky cam, and you see things start getting stacked up a little bit there. Bennett clipped the wall, and then as Bresnock drives in through the corner here,
It's
this
just
is where
free.
things fall apart, just gets loose, collects the 41. Holloway gets caught in it as well. And there's not a whole lot of room to slide here at Martinsville, so it very quickly bottled up the track.
It absolutely did. A lot of drivers on pit road right now. The 48 taking liberties with the pit stall. But service being completed nonetheless.
That is the most optimal Martinsville pit stop I think I've ever seen.
Oh, fantastic. Burns and Rader lead. Loveland second. Trevor Keith back up to 4th. You're going to have to do some math for us. What is the gap that the 15, the 54, and the 12 have to finish ahead of the cut line to be able to make it into the final series, the final round here?
I will actually be able to tell you that in about 30 seconds. So this will be the prime time to mention it, because while the situation is pretty straightforward for Grant Thorpe, Travis Gilbert, or Carter Linz, for Trevor Keith, Caleb Gilbert, or Justice Murphy, it gets a little dicier with where they find themselves. The lack of stage points completely eliminated for all 3 of them a chance really at a ability to advance on points today.
Yeah, with only 27 in the race, that definitely would be an issue. You'd have to win, and if you end up winning, you just advance anyway. So really no way to point their way in, from what I'm understanding. Correct, Alex?
Yeah, so Trevor Keith currently sitting in 6th with Caleb Gilbert and Justice Murphy all not picking up stage points. Trevor Keith, the closest of those three, sit 27 points now behind Travis Gilbert, 30-51 to 30-78. And with only 27 cars in the field, that immediately puts the 15, the 54, and the 12 in a must-win situation tonight if they are to advance to the championship race next week. As for the other three, Grant Thorpe, Travis Gilbert, Carter Linz. Grant Thorpe, courtesy of his third place finish in the stage, still maintaining a +10 advantage to the cut line. However, the cut line has flipped between Travis Gilbert and Carter Linz. Linz came into the day +2. He now finds himself -2 to the 22 machine.
Another restart underway. Element X Racing going to get off the start-finish line, slide back in line on the bottom, and control the restart once again. A tale as old as Martinsville.
That it is. See Justice Murphy trying to go
Rob
around
goes
the high
Loveland.
side here. Oh!
Loveland
The
caught that
0-2
curve.
spun around.
Oh man, that's a tough break. Because I think Trevor Keith's going to get called for this caution. The 0-2 caught the curb, slid up in front of him. Nothing the 15 could do. Was right on board with Trevor Keith. I don't know Justice Murphy. In fact, it was Justice Murphy. Apologies. It was the 12 who got
Well,
that.
no, it was the 15. The 12 got around while they were up just before the yellow flag flew, but it was the 15 who lined up behind the 0-2 there.
From the restart. Loveland's able to squeak ahead here.
Yeah, this is where things fall apart. Keith gets into the 0-2 a little bit there down the back straightaway. And as they make their way off of 3 and 4, it just looks like maybe a bit of a checkup there from the 0-2. Nowhere for Trevor Keith to go.
Yeah, caught the curb and upset the car enough around it went. We'll see if that caution is charged to the 15 or not. If it is, that absolutely changes the outlook of this race. He forewent the stage points for the ability to cycle ahead of everybody else. How will that play out? Trevor Keith, it's interesting situation. He seems to be all smiles in the sim rig right now. I don't think he's gotten any word to give up that spot, so that's good news for Trevor Keith.
And it's also probably a good approach to have in a race where the pressure is going to keep mounting on you to find a way to the front. The more calm and collected you can be behind the wheel, the more that's going to benefit you. Currently in 4th, and that is basically where he's been since the drop of the green flag to start the race tonight. Been lining up on the outside of row 2 just about every lap, and has not been able to make any real forward headway from that spot. As we jump a little further back, there's Travis Gilbert, the stage winner. He is +2 over Carter Linz after the stage. And with where they run on track right now, that gap is only lengthened.
Yeah, if we were
6-6 buried in traffic.
If the race were to end right now, your drivers in the playoffs would be Rader and Burns, obviously, as well as Thorpe and Gilbert. Travis Gilbert would be your final 4. Carter Linz would be out based on where he's running, currently in 15th. Keith, Caleb Gilbert, and Murphy have to win the race to make their way into the final 4.
Yeah, while we're talking points here super briefly, due to the gaps that currently exist, Grant Thorpe will be fine as long as he stays within 8 positions of either Carter Linz or Travis Gilbert, whichever one is running further ahead at the time. The gap that can be maintained between Travis Gilbert and Carter Linz, if there's no new winner, that gap significantly smaller. Travis Gilbert can afford to give up about 3 spots without, or about 1 or 2 spots without giving away that spot to Linz.
Slow launch on the restart there for Jeremy Burns. Whole field got stacked up behind him. A lot of bumper cars going on there. I see the 1 trying to get around the 22 here. Unable to do it as they roll out of turn number 4. The 14 has somehow miraculously recovered up into the top 5 after being involved in, I believe, 3 cautions to this point. Michael Bennett putting on a show here in Martinsville.
It's one of those days where, despite the amount of things that haven't gone right, he just finds himself in a position to make something happen here. And Morgan, we're seeing a familiar face out there. It's the yellow flag from Barney the Flagman. This time, though, for a new face, Tyler Harrison.
Yes, Tyler Harrison has gone around in that 45. Did he get help here? I think he did. Yes, he absolutely did. 17 missed the corner. And he caught Tyler Harrison square in the door. Around goes the 45.
Yeah, and sometimes it's all it takes. And for the 45, wrong place, wrong time, significant right front damage to the 45.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are going to step aside here, take a quick commercial break. You've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. We'll be back right after this.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Swag.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live on V-Speed, high above the Martinsville Speedway. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook. Alex up here in the booth with me. We've seen a herky-jerky start to this Martinsville race. A lot of cautions so far. Stage has been completed for the penultimate race of the season. If you enjoy the broadcast you've seen so far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action here on V-Speed. You can catch the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series exclusively here on V-Speed for the next, what do we say here, 150 laps plus next week. We almost have the season wrapped up. And it's been a phenomenal season to this point.
It really has. We encourage you to, between this race, after this one's over, watch the rest of this. But then go binge watch all the 30-some races to get into the championship spirit of things for next week.
It's a great idea.
I can tell how much you believe in it with the way you said it.
I don't know if there's enough time this week to be able to do that.
Genuinely, actually, it might not be. It's been a long season.
It has been.
It's been a long season.
It has been. Speaking. Oh, never mind.
Spinning.
Never mind.
Speaking of spinning, there goes the 12. And he's spinning out from P2. That's the last thing Justice Murphy wanted there. He's in a must-win situation. And that is going to suddenly make it far more difficult.
I was just about to say nice things about Justice Murphy. And before I could say it, the LSU Tiger number 12 found himself facing the wrong direction. There he is doing his best Kyle Busch impression. Seen a lot of that tonight.
the restart, and he gets going pretty good here. Despite the start from the 53, due to that inside position, Murphy able to carry that spot to P2. Looks like he's going to develop a bit of a run here on Burns, and then just nowhere to go. And,
Yeah, he
a little
caught the
too
curve.
eager to get back on. Oh, he did. No,
Yeah.
not even a throttle issue. He just got a piece of the curve there off of 4, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Picklesheimer got probably the worst end of that. A lot of drivers look like they've been through a demolition derby 94 laps into this Martinsville race.
Morgan, there's some chatter that the driver who will lead the most laps tonight is whoever's driving the pace car. And I'll be honest with you, it certainly feels like it's trending that direction.
So that's an interesting thing that you note. I've always wondered, how often does the pace car fuel up? Because hopefully they're getting good mileage in that iRacing pace car, because they've needed it so far. We're working caution number 11, meaning the pace car has been out on the racetrack 12 times, of course the start of the race included. At about 5 laps apiece, I do wonder what kind of mileage we have under the hood of that iRacing pace car.
He's got enough speed to have led about 50 odd so laps tonight, which would be more than any other driver in the field if you were to attack him on there as well. It's been a busy night for the pace car. I'm sure he was hoping to just kind of sit back, maybe have a bag of Doritos and just watch the action unfold. Instead, he's been center stage just like the rest of these drivers.
I don't think they'd let you get the Dorito orange fingers in the pace car. I don't think that would be okay. I think it'd have to be something like a salt and vinegar maybe, or maybe a sea salt and pepper, something of that nature that you can clean off a little easier. Doesn't stain the steering wheel as much as maybe a Dorito or a Cheeto would.
If someone was driving a show car or like a pace car and they said, I'm going to have a bag of Cheetos first, I think that's actually grounds to like get them evicted from the property.
Yeah, that's flaming hot Cheeto dust all over the interior of that car. And yes, I have thought about this at length. As you clearly noticed by now, it's been a, like I said earlier, herky-jerky start to this race here. Now jerky,
We are hitting.
that's something you could have behind the wheel of that pace
Hey, there we go. That'd
There
be a
we
good
go.
stack for this race too.
car. Sure would be.
Wish I had some on me right now.
Trevor Keith on the front row for the first time tonight. Burns leads him into the restart zone. Good launch for the top 2. See the downshifts and look at the 15 sailing off into turn number 1.
He drove it in deep, that's for sure. He was a full car length back at the 53. Pulled right alongside the door. Caleb Gilbert, for the slightest second, thought about making that 3 wide before he tucked it back in behind Raider. There was the inkling of an idea to go low, though.
And speaking
He'll
of
settle
Caleb
into
Gilbert, where did he come from? Last time we saw
Yeah.
him, he was spinning with the 50 or with the 27. Now only 30 laps later, he's up in the top 4. He needs to win. Caution's out again. 48's around.
And that is Parker Johnston.
So one thing we haven't touched on yet today, I hope we wouldn't need to. There is an incident limit here tonight. 17 gets you a drive-through under green. 21 gets you kicked from the race. I imagine there are a number of drivers who are getting awfully close to that magic number 17.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a great recovery there for Michael Bennett a little while ago. He's
that
been caught
was
up with a few
an
different
issue.
things already tonight. That would put him to 12 just through default. But that looked like a little bit of a pinball situation there for Parker Johnston.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that
I think he
again.
made contact with like 2-3 cars there.
I think that started off with not Breslock's in front of him. I think it was Harrison. Was the first one I saw involved in this. Going to be off of turn 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I also think something happens with the 27 potentially just ahead of him.
It was
Think
the
it's stacked
24.
up valves.
Yeah, it was the 24. Let's
And then you could feel the repercussions of that go back through the lines, and
Yeah.
eventually it ends up with the 48 spinning out. But this starts way higher up in the field.
let's see if we can catch this. Yeah, this is up in the top 10 here. It'll be off of turn 2 this lap, and we'll get back to the live shot. A little bit of a lockup. Oh, he just gets loose on his own. Saves it in front of the field, and around goes the 48 as a repercussion.
Yeah. That's a tough break because, you know, obviously you want to preserve your car, preserve your day.
Right.
And that's what the 24 was trying to do there, getting out of the throttle so he didn't end up looping the car. But in the process, with all the side-by-side battling behind him, nowhere for those outside lane cars to go. And it ends with the 48 getting the worst of it.
I think the biggest loser out of that incident was Justice Murphy. Talk about that incident limit. He's already been around. He's already been around once. Definitely had contact in that incident as well, and just had contact there. If I'm counting right, that could be 8 X's already, and we're not even halfway through this race yet.
Yeah, and I mean, there's certainly drivers, I think, who probably have an even bigger counter than he does at the moment. But that is one of those
not racing for
drivers who
championship,
desperately. Yeah, that's where the extra element of concern comes in the 12 camp. Is that, you know, a lot of the other drivers who are bouncing off of stuff tonight, not fighting to try and advance to the championship race next week. The 12 very much in that hunt and very much has speed tonight. We've seen him run as high as second. We know he can get up there. It's just a matter about staying up there. So it'll be Trevor Keith and Jeremy Burns front row, Rob Rader, Caleb Gilbert most likely row 2.
Caleb Gilbert going to restart
Of,
bottom of row 3, electing to make it an all-element X inside row for the first 3. Remember, they are trying to win the team championship tonight, and if they run the way that they are, there is really nothing that OMT Racing can do to get around them. They're doing everything they have to do to go clinch up that championship. They really want to talk to us up here at V-Speed. I don't know what it is, but they've won a lot of races and had a lot of podiums this season, including at least one 1-2-3 that I can remember. 2 of them, in fact. 1 encumbered, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, back green here. Burns in the restart zone. Trevor Keith on the outside. Might get alongside Burns. He will not get him that time.
Trevor Keith, though, is going to clear Rob Rader.
Oh, he
drop it on down in front of the 53.
He forced it.
Forced himself. Oh, and then Robinson punts him up the track. Bad set of corners there for the 53. Got passed by Keith. And now Rob Rader, you can tell he's driving with the blinders on. Nearly took out the 22. He is looking to get back to somebody.
Yeah, very frustrated. Driver of the 53 right now is Trevor Keith is going for the lead for the first time tonight. Second time tonight, we're going to see somebody battle and challenge for that top spot. Can the 15 get around him?
This could be huge for Trevor Keith. This is a must-win situation, but Caleb Gilbert going to maybe follow him on through on the inside. Almost got a piece of Burns there. The 15 and the 54 need a win tonight, and now if you're someone like Grant Thorpe seeing the change happening here with a new winner, that now suddenly puts you as the driver holding on to the cut line by the skin of your teeth. And now everyone's starting to tense up a little bit.
And the 15 is driving away. Biggest lead, one of the biggest leads we've seen all day, up to half a second. I think if you're the 22, your head's got to be spinning. Started second, led the opening number of laps, won the stage, and is still, if it were to end right now, going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, and he's running 6. He's basically put everything together that he's needed. The problem is he is starting from outside the cut line. Grant Thorpe taking care of business right now in P4, had the points advantage above him after the stage. And now with potential new winner in Trevor Keith, who is in a must-win situation, 27 points below the cut line, this could really shake things up. And if you're the 22, all of a sudden the urgency to get to the front of the field has skyrocketed, knowing that you are now on the outside looking in despite running in the top 5 and basically doing everything right to this point tonight.
Right on board here with Devin Hudgens. Pole winner, led the opening 23 laps. Still running that VR headset. This would be one of those racetracks I'd be a little concerned to use that VR headset. It'd probably help with the entry speed. But so much happening, so easy to spin as the caution is out again.
We've said those words a couple times tonight.
I think it was Grant Turner that time. Go back and find out.
Looks
There he
good
goes.
there, just looped it coming off of turn 2. Little tap of the inside wall. It's not been a particularly kind night to the 39.
Say that about most of this field. Look at
Yeah.
the nose of the 8. He's definitely been in it today. Justice Murphy's had a few. Kevin Orlando Jr. as well. The 21 of Holloway. There have been more incidents tonight than Juan Soto can swoon at. It's been a it's been an event for sure.
And that is certainly an analogy. Big fan, big fan. But nothing. You could have given me $500 to tell what was going to end that sentence. That certainly wasn't going to be it.
Not halfway yet.
Yeah, and I think we are already devolving into the V-Speed After Dark mindset we ran into at New Hampshire, where things are just coming off the rails here.
They sure are. We might want to start interviewing drivers. That might get us a little bit back into it. We want to see if we can grab somebody from the Discord. We'll have a chat with them while we pace. I believe we are still 2 to green here.
Yeah, certainly seems
Let's just
like
hold on one sec here. We won't do it this time. They're doing the choose, meaning they're going to go green here right away. Next caution, we'll start grabbing drivers.
Yeah.
Have a chat with them. We don't need to take anybody out of it quite yet. I kid. We're not trying to take anybody out of it. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it is definitely just a coincidence that whenever people pop into the booth to chat, usually it's a 50-50 chance something horrendous happens on the next run. So
that's not true.
It depends on if you ask us or the driver.
That's more accurate, I guess. Yeah, we get more of that holistic view. We kind of see everything. So I don't think it's quite as bad as we've as that goes. But now we're choosing. Okay, we did not choose last time.
Yeah, the old commentator's curse every so often just reaches out and grabs someone and drags him away from the nice spot that they were running in at that point in time.
Definitely does. Top 4,
What
top
a front
5,
row.
in fact, are all playoff drivers. Only
Yeah.
one of them locked in. Yeah, that
And,
front row is
two
a
guys who were
must
good on
win.
points.
Oh, man.
The 2 guys good on points are 3rd and 5th with 2 must wins in the front row. Boy, if I'm Grant Thorpe or Travis Gilbert and I'm seeing the way this is starting to bunch up at the front, might be go time.
Well, the cream has definitely risen to the top. No question about that. Many playoff drivers in the top 10. Let's turn him loose here. One more time. Trevor Keith, the control car. Slow roll, great launch. Gonna easily clear down into turn number 1.
Cam action as Trevor Keith will lead him back to the start-finish line. Got Caleb Gilbert hot on his heels, though, and then Jeremy Burns and Travis Gilbert is where the action picks up side by side for 4th, with Rob Rader, Matt Robinson just behind them.
So, Rader head hard into the corner. Missed the braking zone, locked him up. Moved out of the way by Hudgens, but no harm, no foul for those drivers. So you're telling me that 4 drivers who need points are running 1 through 4. Really?
That is absolutely what I'm telling you. The guys 1st and 2nd are in the must-win situation. The people who can still point their way in are 3rd and 4th right now.
Oh, there goes the 54s around. Oh, no.
Oh, that is not what the 54 needed at all in this moment. He had done such a good job to get up and give himself a chance here. And now, just before the halfway mark, around he goes from P2.
Well, the good news is that it's just before halfway. Still a lot of laps left here at Martinsville, but why did the 54 go around? Just too hot into the corner. Caught the curb a little bit, loose on entry, and yeah, around he goes. What this does, this opens up the team championship just a little bit.
Yeah. Gives the OMT side a bit of a chance. You know, their drivers Carter Linz, Chris Nail, Kevin Orlando, Tyler Harrison, Joe Joya. A couple of those guys currently running inside the top 10.
Now might be a good
Trying
time to
get
go
every-
grab a driver here. These cautions
Yeah.
happen
Well,
pretty quickly. Let's wait till we're done the pit stops. We got a number of drivers on pit road. We can go chat with really anybody up in the top 10 here would be not pitting this time.
Let's see if I can pull in Grant Thorpe here in P2.
All right, let's do it.
Hey there, Grant. This is Alex and Morgan in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
So how's it going?
Well, yeah.
We're surviving.
Yes, you are. That 77 Tennessee machine's been up near the front all day long, and you've been able to stay up there pretty well. 57 laps on this fuel run. What are we looking like to the end? You are the king of fuel mileage in this series.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to make it from here without stopping at least one more time. It's currently what I'm trying to figure out, doing a little math in my head to figure out when I need to pit again. Not sure exactly. If I had to guess, I got to go another 30, 40 laps, and I should be able to make it pretty easily from there. I hope. We'll find out.
Yes, we will. Might not want to reveal all the cards up here in the V-Speed booth. There could be others listening. Hard to say if they race and listen to the broadcast at the same time, but it's been a herky-jerky one so far. Use that term at least 4 times so far tonight.
Yeah.
What, anyone you want to thank or shout out before you go back racing here at Martinsville?
Old Barney up in the flag stand is getting to work out tonight. It's unfortunate.
Ace car driver, too.
Oh, yeah. He's led the most laps.
He certainly has. All right. Well, good luck here the rest of the way, Grant, and
Appreciate it, guys.
yeah, I'll see if you can make your way into that Final Four.
Appreciate it.
All right, there
That is
goes.
the wrong TriStar Motorsports.
There
There
goes
we
Grant
go.
Thorpe. We are losing our minds up here in the V-Speed booth. And I think some
It's
of the
not my
drivers,
fault. They made 2 of them.
some of the drivers on track, I feel like are feeling that same sort of thing right now.
Yeah, I
Probably,
think it's very telling that the driver in P2 is running about as good as anyone tonight. And we asked him how he's doing. He said surviving.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. I'm really impressed with the 84 of Devin Hudgens. Run up in the top 10
He's had
all
some
day.
really good speed tonight.
Definitely has won the pole, and he's showing that was not a fluke. Trevor Keith can lead him to the green once again. Oh, another great jump. Timed it perfectly, and Carter Linz up into the top 5 for the first time today.
I was just about to say, we were talking about drivers who were in the points battle there, Grant Thorpe and Travis Gilbert. Well, here's the 3rd guy of 3 who needs some points here if we're going to advance without getting a new winner, and that is the 66 Carter Linz. He is currently -2 to 22 and running 2 spots behind him, so I guess that gap right now, -4. He is right on the cusp trying to advance, but so is Travis Gilbert and Grant Thorpe. All 3 of those guys running inside the top 5 right now. They're trying to track down Trevor Keith.
And Justice Murphy's found his way up into the top 10. We got Harrison all over the curb. Gonna run for that team championship. There's a driver of the 45. As Rob Rader has gone around, I believe.
The 53.
I don't believe it was
There
53.
There it is.
Maybe it was, we'll see. We'll figure it out. The track isn't that big.
Let's take a look-see here.
Oh, it was a 53. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, it definitely
and the
was.
double
That's
zero.
knocked in there as well.
Wow. All right, well, let's see. Rob Rader positioning with the brakes all day long.
He's been driving it really deep into the corners, and it's been sometimes sending in a little too much, but that time had a bit of help, gets pushed up the track by Trevor Erhardt in 1 and 2. Big move to try and cut off the 41. I think he just got loose. Got over
Yes,
the apron
he
or over
did.
the curbs.
Yeah, I don't think he expected Bresnock to be right there. I think he was looking in the mirror, tried to make that move, and then realized that the 00 was much slower than anticipated. And that might even be an unsafe pit entry on the 53. That was one of those interesting accidents here at Martinsville you don't see very often.
Yeah,
Got about
to the
4
theme
of those
we've been
tonight.
seeing some. Yeah, I'm about to say we're adding to the spotter's guide here of interesting incidents to find here in Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, if we had a bingo card for this one, it's probably got a couple bingos on it already. Potentially a blackout here right away. It's been yeah, it's really been something. We've seen our playoff drivers who need wins get up to the front. We've seen playoff drivers had trouble. We've seen other drivers have issues. We've seen netcode accidents. We've seen multi-car parking lot, single car spins, a little bit of everything here. Pace car running the fuel tank out and still having to lead more laps. It's been an interesting one, and we're only a handful of laps past the halfway point so far.
Absolutely. And to your point about having seen a little bit of everything, the only thing I think we haven't seen yet in the race is what Kevin Orlando Jr. and Grant Turner got up to during the practice session leading into tonight's race. Getting into the infield, running at full speed along there, and then catching a little bump behind one of the pit stalls and flying like a spinning torpedo into turn 1. Truly a sight to behold, and one of those fun iRacing glitches that never gets old, like the old Phoenix flip.
So this, to put a bow on what Alex was saying, this is one of the few racetracks in the iRacing service where you can drive into that pit area. Everywhere on this property inside the outside walls is able to be driven around. So you can go check out the haulers and go drive around that building in the middle of the racetrack. There is nothing stopping you. No walls, no visible barriers. You can go wherever you like. Just like real Martinsville here in iRacing. And haven't seen it yet today. Hopefully we won't during the race, because that means you're probably not having the best of days if you find yourself behind pit wall. Like a number of drivers so far, Joe Joya, Chris Nail, Alex Forget. They're all on the racetrack, all laps down. Forget's not on the racetrack. He's still in the pits. Been there for about an hour. Joya and Chris Nail on the racetrack, 8 and 12 laps down, respectively. Picklesheimer, last driver on the lead lap, in 24th. Trevor Keith going to lead one more of these restarts. Grant Thorpe to the inside. Travis Gilbert, apologies, right behind him.
Good launch for the 15. Caught the 77 at a spot where he was trying to get off the throttle just a hair. He'll slide right on down in front of Grant Thorpe. Travis Gilbert up the third, and he's looking for more.
Yes, he is. Big drive to the inside, and look at the 77. Roll the high line. He's going to be there. Schaefer's in the outside wall behind him. Look at the roll. Oh, he missed the corner.
Oh, yeah, he rolled a little too far that time. He almost was able to clear him and just got a little too ambitious in 1 and 2.
Going to fall back in the clutches of Gardner Linz. And look at Justice Murphy up to 7th. We got those 3 drivers who need the win all in the top 7.
It is anybody's bet how this is going to shake out. Thorpe trying to get back around Loveland. As Travis Gilbert glues himself to the back bumper of Trevor Keith here for the lead. A driver in a must-win scenario versus a driver who's clinging on to that cut line and would be the one kicked out of the championship for if there is a new winner tonight.
And the thing about the 22 that I find so interesting is just how shallow his entry is. Let's watch this here. That time a little bit wider than Keith was, but typically he runs a really shallow entry into these corners. Able to make a lot of speed up because of it. Oh, he's going to move the leader.
Oh, he just pushed him up the track. Little bump and run maybe from the 22. Keith going to hold on to the lead.
Oh, my
Can't
goodness.
imagine he's too thrilled about that one.
We know the 22 doesn't like to run second. Remember back to Vegas a few weeks ago, coming to the stage. Him and the 19 got into it and effectively put him in this situation where he's not locked into the playoffs. He took a big points hit that day and still not safe. And I probably wouldn't mess with that 15 car too much. especially if you take him out of the lead. Big drive here to the inside. Going to block for Trevor Keith. No dice that time by.
Yeah, the 22 continues to look to the inside in 3 and 4, tries driving it in really deep to get under the 15. The 15, though, not giving it to him. We've already seen one bump and run attempt. Will we see another one here? Doesn't seem like it. He's stuck right now behind the 15 as the 84 got wicked loose off of turn 4 that
A little
time.
free off of turn 4. We know that this setup is a little snappy off the corners. The 22 is giving Trevor Keith all he can handle. We've already seen bumps 1 and 2. The third one usually sends that lead car a little bit out of the groove.
Yeah, the 22 has already tried moving the 15 up the track once. Will he try it again here? We still have over 100 laps to go in this race, but you would not be able to tell by the way the leaders are fighting for this one right now, and just because of how much it means to try and get to the championship 4 here. Both of these guys need that position if they're going to advance.
And Keith is doing a phenomenal job of defending this. He's yet to make a mistake, taking that shallow entry into the corner, not allowing the 22 to his inside. He's going to slide up in the middle right there. Not able to give the 22 the window he needed to get around him. Check back on this here in just a second. Other must-win drivers. Oh, we got another bat. Oh, he's going to turn him.
Oh, we turned him.
He just turned. He turned him into
We
the wall.
turned him, and he's in the
my
wall.
goodness. Oh, wow. That changes
Oh my goodness.
everything.
Oh
What on
my
earth?
goodness. For both the 22 and the 15, absolute disaster at the front of the field.
Wow. All right, let's go back. Oh, my. We got to be getting really close to the incident limit for a few of these drivers. So from the 22, right on the nose here, on the roof.
Another bump to the bumper.
I mean, applying all the pressure. It's a good run off the corner.
Yeah, nice little diamond off there on 1 and 2. Really goes for on the inside and just
And
drove
really,
it in a little deeper than the 15 and cost them both.
I don't know if he was going to make that corner anyway. That was a really deep drive. I know he's one of, if not the best, under braking in this series, but that was ambitious, even for him. Now on
And
pit
after
road,
that,
19th.
Yeah. He's now scored 19th. The 15 scored back in 9th.
16th, I see.
Well, that has not updated yet. That was from when he was rolling down pit road. He is all the way back now to 16th. For the 15, did everything he needed to do to put himself in a winning position in the must-win situation he found himself in. Now has 100 laps to try and get back to that spot. And for the 22, points-wise, he was looking in good shape. He was ahead of Carter Linz and Grant Thorpe. Was going for the lead, though, because the win would remove all doubt on the points situation. And now he has an even bigger hill to climb to try and get back up there.
So as they run, Alex, I'm going to let you do a little bit of math here while I kind of sort through this mentally.
22 back on pit road.
Yeah, he's still got damage on that car, I would believe. He knows into that wall pretty good. What do we look like on points now? Who's in, who's out? I know Grant Thorpe is going to be in at this moment, being that he is in third. Justice Murphy in fourth, still in that must-win situation, although it would be pretty close, all things considered, with the 22 off the pace. I see Trevor Keith is now 15th, Carter Linz in 13th. Where are we at for the points?
As they run, Grant Thorpe is looking good in the point situation. Now with no new winner currently leading this race. He was plus 10 after the stage, and that was to Travis Gilbert, who currently finds himself down in the 18th or so, 19th position.
24th.
Oh, yes, he is 24th. Never mind. So, yeah, he is well clear of the 22 right now. And for Carter Linz, who was only 2 points behind him, so Thorpe was plus 12 to Linz. That 66 machine currently mirrored right in the middle of the field. So he is also behind at the moment. But Linz, by nature of the fact that he is still about 8-9 positions ahead of Travis Gilbert, would take that last spot on points if these results were to hold. The question mark becomes Justice Murphy sitting there in the second spot on the outside row. If he finds his way to the front here around Loveland and Hudgens, that immediately resets the table again, just like when Trevor Keith was leading a moment ago.
Oh my. That's
Yeah.
This is about to be one of the most feverish 100 laps you've ever seen in a short track race. Playoffs on the line. We just saw a massive situation unfold. And Devin Hudgens, the pole sitter, back to the point. V-speed zone. James Loveland to the outside. Here on the restart, inside line going to prevail again. And look at the 77 get a great jump. He will take over second off of turn number 2.
So Hudgens jumps to the lead. Grant Thorpe going to take over second here from the 0-2. Loveland, I think, maybe trying to find a way to the inside, but Justice Murphy hot on his heels, not going to let him do that just yet. Now they all shuffle out to the inside line. 2 by 2 deep in the field.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Tyler Harrison ends up losing several spots there, kicked all the way up toward the outside. Gilbert trying to work his way back. He's already up to 17th. Trevor Keith trying to make some progress as well. He's just outside the top 10.
Driver in front of them, locking it up. I believe that was the 27. Kevin Orlando Jr. up to 7th now. Matt Robinson in 6th, having a solid run here today. Haven't said his name too much, which is probably a good thing. If we haven't said your name today, that means you have not been involved in one of these accidents quite yet. And that list is pretty short. Pretty short.
Yeah. But to the point you were making a little while ago there, Morgan. Devin Hudgens, what a day he's having so far. Took the pole, led the opening 20-some laps, and now has put himself back in the lead and continues to control this race from the front.
Yeah, definitely putting on a great show. He's shown speed throughout the season at various racetracks, but it's becoming clear he is a opposite of super speedway driver, a short track driver, doing a great job here at Martinsville.
They're currently holding off Grant Thorpe by about 0.3 of a second. Meanwhile, looking a little deeper in the field, Travis Gilbert has gotten around Trevor Keith. The 22 up to 13th, and the caution's out once again.
Hudgens
spinning there at the 21.
Not Hudgens. Holloway. I am out of it. We have completely lost the plot here. As the 21, the Candyman is around. All right. Right in front of the 22. Oh, there goes the 24 as well. So they both spun at the same time.
And then the 21 got loose, and then the 22 ended up making contact with him. Might be a bit more damage for Travis Gilbert's car, but it starts with Trevor Keith getting a piece of Nick Alves.
So Trevor Keith got Nick Alves, and then when the caution came out, the 21 slowed down quicker than the 22 could and got himself turned around as well. So what an interesting situation. That's a couple 4Xs to go around. And yeah, we got to be getting close to having drive-through penalties here. Unfortunately,
got to imagine.
ATVO, our trusty source for all things timing and scoring and graphics, does not have that feature. Excuse me, that works the incident counter. So no dice.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if that's something that drivers are too concerned about, because I'm looking at the race log, and all it is black flag clears across just about every driver in the field at some point here.
That's interesting. I guess we'll have to get an idea after the race, because the gist was supposed to be, from my understanding, 17 incidents would be a drive-through under green, 21 would be a DNF from the race, a DQ, if you will, parked for the remainder of the event. I see the 24 is on pit road, getting some damage repaired. He has gone a lap down. He will join Joe Joya, Chris Nail, and Alex Forget as the only other drivers a lap or more behind the leader. Still another just under 90 laps to go here.
Yeah, and anyone who is pit from really this point onwards will be able to make it on fuel.
So
that much we know.
The only two that I have questions about are your top two, Trevor Erhardt, Michael Bennett, both pitted 40 and 49 laps ago. Trevor Keith, Rob Rader, Parker Johnston, Grant Turner, Kyle Diaz, Christopher Schaefer, drivers 3 through 8, pitted 14 ago. Everybody else pitted on this recent caution 2 laps or less ago. So that sets it up for what could be a very interesting run to the finish. And look at Rob Rader, made his way back up to the front. I think every driver's had a crack at the top 5 here today, and also had a crack at the bottom 5 here today. That's just kind of been the nature of this one in Martinsville.
Because even Alex Forget, who's off the track and will be scored in last place tonight, wrecked out initially from the 5th place position.
Yes, he did. Erhardt, good launch. Said that about 14 times today. It's the 41. He's going to get through it. So is the 14. Trevor Keith back up into the top 5 again.
Oh, almost a bit of contact there with Keith and Rader as the two of them try and sort it out inside the top 5. It also is worth noting, I might need to issue a quick apology here. I think the black flag rules are actually for the choose.
Ah, that would make sense.
In front of each other. So I do believe that is where the actual issue is coming in. That's why there's been so many black flags.
That makes sense. Little ride on board there with Grant Turner in 5th.
Anticipation very much is still a possibility as Devin Hudgens nearly got tagged by Christopher Schaefer deeper in the field, and now they're 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide. Oh, big crash back
Al's
there.
around. So is Loveland. Oh, and Linz was getting into Schaefer. Oh my goodness, there's calamity everywhere. Schaefer's still sideways, Robinson into the wall.
Caution not out yet, we're still green. We are
The
still
flag
green.
man has given up tonight.
Barney is
He's
having
been
a
too
nap. He needs it.
He is throwing a tantrum up there. He said, nope,
Oh, there's
I'm
the
not gonna
one
dare.
in front of the field. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was almost catastrophic.
We got NASCAR out here under race control. Goodness gracious. There's a tire bouncing through turns 3 and 4 probably.
And a partridge in a pear tree off in the distance.
We've
had it all here tonight.
What a race. That's a lot to unpack. We saw parts of it. Let's go back and see Matt Robinson. See if we can catch what happened to him.
I feel like it was a montage of someone having a flashback to like a crime day.
He started that as well. He hit the wall. The 0-2 went around, and in front of him, Schaefer got a little bit of help. The one trying to get away from it gets turned by the 22, who's part of it.
22 stacked
There's
up,
a parking
as
lot
is the
there.
54. Somehow that does not bring out a caution.
And it
Just
wasn't,
let's throw that out there.
It wasn't
for
until
another lap.
about here that the caution came out because the leaders are coming through the field right there.
Right there. Oh, and Robinson nearly got a piece of Erhardt there. Oh my goodness. In Matt Robinson's defense, though, the caution should have been thrown a lap earlier, like a full lap earlier.
Yeah, the caution should have been thrown when he hit the wall off of turn 2, not when he was spinning sideways, facing backwards out of turn number 4.
And they didn't even throw it until the leaders got back to him, even though that spin happened inside the top 10, and 2/3 of the field had to get checked up to almost no speed.
That more than likely raised the heart rate of your leader. What do you say? Maybe we can go have a chat. We can't. He is in a locked channel, unfortunately, so he would be a great one to chat with. Maybe second place, Michael Bennett will lend us an ear.
Michael Bennett real quick.
Hey, Michael Bennett, it's Morgan Alex up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, fellas?
Well, you have had an interesting race, to say the least. Started 18th. You were caught up in a couple accidents at some point. You're currently in second after a pretty good restart behind the 41. How do you sum this race up so far? Still 80 laps to go.
Absolute chaos, man. It's Martinsville. So it's all about. Come here, run 8 laps, pace, run 8 more, pace, run 8 more, pace, and just survive, really. That's all you can do.
How's the incident counter looking for the 14?
We're at 10 right now. We were at 10 back the last incident I got into. 10. No, I was at 6, and then I got a 4X from getting one of the cars spun out, and I got hit in the butt. So we're at 10 now. So hoping to keep it under 7, finish this race strong, and see what we can do.
Right on. While we still got you, anyone you want to shout out before we go back green?
Yeah, shout out to all my family in Pennsylvania and North Carolina, Maryland, all watching. They come here every week to watch me and support me, so shout out to them. Hopefully we can do something with it tonight.
Right on. Good luck as we roll back into
right.
turn 3 and 4. Go green here.
Motorsports, right?
Yeah, that's where he was. All right. Trevor Keith has made his way back to the outside of the front row.
Crazy to think, it only took him 25 laps to get right back up to the top 3.
And battling for second, getting moved up out of the groove a little bit. Oh, there goes Raider around.
Hudgens, it's a piece of Raider.
Somehow
Everything
they
gets
stay
stacked
green.
up.
Wow. How did they not spin out?
Barney the flagman might have night church now, where he's trying to get this thing done as soon as possible, as they are 3 wide going into 3, all playoff drivers as well.
All playoff drivers who need a good run. There goes Hudgens around into the inside wall.
My goodness. And we stay green.
Is this Martinsville or Miles the Monster?
Yeah, really. Track is chewing up cars and spitting them out right now.
Oh, 3 wide.
Because now the caution now finally flies.
Oh, and it's the 14. We just talked to him. I guess
Oh,
add one
boy,
to your
oh,
list,
boy.
Alex. Sorry, Michael.
Oh,
and they're just
a little
parked.
extra.
They're parked behind him. Oh my goodness. This has been a race of all time.
that is certainly a way to describe it.
It's been one of them.
Take a look at what
definitely.
happened here.
Got some help from TK. Yes, he did.
Yeah, just
yeah,
a tap.
he definitely did. And then
Oh, and then he
overcorrected it,
overcorrect.
caught the wall, and is just sitting broadside in front of the field here. Everyone
Tell
able
you
to get
what,
around
that
him
is the
except for
second time
the 43.
tonight that the 14 has gotten lightly tapped in 3 and 4, but just at the apex of the corner where the car is most likely to get off balance. He's ended up losing it.
Well, we
People
talked
keep trying
about
to
it
send it in on the 14, and
with
it
that.
has not worked out well for Bennett.
We talked about that first accident of the day with Forget way back at lap, I don't remember, where he was in 3rd gear. Most of these drivers rip in 3rd gear through the corners. Really easy to spin the rear tires if you get a little bit of help in that 3rd gear. So that is going to attribute to part of it. You obviously go much slower if you just stay in 4th. But you're less likely to spin in 4th gear just because the revs aren't so high, the wheel spin isn't quite there. But we've seen a number of drivers go around with just a little bit of contact to the rear bumper, especially if it's right where you're about to accelerate. You maybe get the wheel a little bit more turned and touch that throttle a little bit more, and around your car goes. But yeah, tough break for the 14. Was running up in 2nd, but he's done it once already today. Went from the back to the front. I'm sure he could do it again here in the final 70 or so laps.
So as they run, highest running playoff driver is Trevor Keith, currently scored in that 2nd spot. Then behind them, you jump to Jeremy Burns, who's sitting in 4th. He's already locked in, though. The next one fighting for a spot to advance is Carter Linz in 5th. Grant Thorpe is 6th. And then you get to Rob Rader, who's already locked in, and Travis Gilbert 9th. As they run right now, Carter Linz is in over the 22 by a point.
Oh my.
That gap of 3. They, if my math is right, Travis Gilbert had a 2-point advantage after the stage. Currently trailing Carter Linz by 3 spots. That would be 1 position on track, and yeah, it is shaping up to be a barn burner here, because that might not matter at all if Trevor Keith gets to the front here over Trevor Erhardt.
Absolutely right. And for those of you who were questioning, this is caution number 19 of the day. 7 lead changes so far.
Yeah, the posed question of the over-under 27.5 starting to push a little closer to the over.
Yes, it is. I was always scared to bet the over. You know, that was never really something that I had much interest in.
I was not. Yeah, same. But, you know, 181 laps later, we find ourselves in a bit of a different situation than when we started the night, all fresh-eyed and ready to go.
In the Geico restart zone once again. Outside line, interesting restart. Element X guys ganging up on Parker Johnston.
Everyone trying to shuffle in, trying to find their spot in line. Trevor Keith going to take second away from Johnston. Door to door is Linz and Burns for 4th, a little deeper on the field. 66 trying to get around the 9 here, because every position he gets is going to get him 1 step closer to advancing to the championship race in Phoenix if he's able to clear the 9 here.
And as he gains spots, so does the 22. He just gets around Grant the Toes Turner. Next one is Rob Rader. These 2 drivers have had their fair share of incidents together this season.
Currently running in the 8th position. We know he's got speed. He just needs to find his way back to the front. Right now boxed in between Rader, Caleb Gilbert, and Grant Turner before the 39 clipped the wall off the floor.
How about Caleb Gilbert? Remember, he went all the way around and turned out of 2nd spot. He's back up in the top 10, currently running in 9th.
It has been a crazy race. If you were to watch the lap-by-lap position counter of any of these drivers, it would look like a rather erratic heart rate monitor, how quickly they're moving up and down through the field. As Grant Turner, speaking of heart rate, just spiked everybody's there, nearly lost it in turn 2.
Yeah, the toes have been working real hard in this race. Here's a look at the foot cam. To sail it off into turn number 1. Let's ride on board here for a lap or 2.
Really feather that brake going into turn 3, and it'll be the same here going into 1. Hard on it at first, and then kind of works it around to get that car to bite so we can get back onto the throttle.
Currently in the 15th position as we almost had Justice Murphy go around.
Meanwhile, up front, Trevor Keith has taken over the lead. Erhardt back to 3rd. Parker Johnston slow off of 4 as well, so Linz will move up to 4th. So now that whole points battle between Carter Linz and Travis Gilbert, you can once again, at least for the moment, throw that out the window, because Trevor Keith trying to lock himself into the championship 4 with a win here. But Grant Thorpe trying to not let him get away, and if you are Travis Gilbert or Carter Linz, you are praying to either get up to the 77 and the 15 right now, or at the bare minimum for the 77 to get around the 15, so there's not a new winner from below the cut line.
I think all Grant Thorpe wants to do is just stick in this spot. Stay right here. Oh, someone's around. Travis Gilbert's around. The 22.
The 22. Big playoff implications.
Oh, he just about got smacked by the 17 as well. Behind Rader. Trying to get around the 53 for a number of laps now. Went to the high line. And just, yeah, a little too much on the throttle. Oh, he clipped the 54 too.
So both Gilberts gonna have some issues coming out of that one. bigger issues for the 22, but definitely a bit of damage for Caleb Gilbert and the 54 machine as well.
And there was some Gilbert squared for just a moment.
Both ends of that car, both the left and right front, looked like they've been pushed in a bit. It's not too often you see the nose of a car look relatively okay, but both the left and right side get pushed back.
Martinsville, that's the place.
I suppose so.
As we have just about completed 200 laps in this one. Not quite. Erhardt going to make his final stop of the day, he hopes. He was the only driver I had a question mark around making it to the end. Everybody else, I believe, is good to go on fuel. If you don't have to, I believe the pit cart's going to be packed up and sent back to wherever the team shop is. And speaking of team, let's have a look at those team points. Element X Racing, OMT Racing, still going at it. And if you would have asked me 70 laps ago when Element X was 1, 2, 3, I would have said, oh, they looking pretty strong right now. OMT has definitely turned up the wick a little bit. And it's not going to be over until that final checkered flag waves on the team championship as well as the driver championship.
Yeah, really. With Carter Linds now running third, OMT has a driver running higher than any of the Element X drivers right now, which could prove to be rather critical in their hunt to try and take that team championship. I think a lot of people going into the playoffs just assumed that Element X was going to be able to carry it with how dominant they were in the regular season, but it is shaping up to be quite the battle here when it's all said and done. Last chance for those team championship points is going to go right down to the wire, and looks like the drivers' championship of who will advance to the championship 4 will be absolutely more of the same.
Yeah, down to the wire, absolutely. As we work the 20th caution of the day. 8 lead changes in the last one when Trevor Keith took the lead away from Trevor Erhardt. Here in the Gilby 250, presented by Chapman Environmental Services. What a race it's been. I don't know what more to say than that.
Yeah, the what a race it's been, I think, really encapsulates everything that's happened here, which has simultaneously been everything and yet no prolonged racing periods. It's been a lot of short sprints here today, and it's really tested how much you've got in your restart arsenal. Because after a while, people are going to start gauging when you're going to go, because there's only so many times you can fool the other line before they get one right.
Both your restart arsenal and your analogy arsenal are under attack here today.
Boy, the resources, we're getting deep into the bag right now.
deep into the bag, absolutely. Another good one. Leader seems to always get that advantage, high line or low line.
Burns trying to roll the outside here on Grant Thorpe. 77, though, trying to fight back on the inside, staying right to the back bumper of Keith, who washed up the track a little bit there. Opens the door maybe for Grant Thorpe in the turn 1, and they're going to be side by side for the lead.
And that is
Trevor
now what
Keith
the 15
needs this win to advance. The
Definitely.
77 looked good on points, but if he's able to take the lead here, he won't have to worry about the points. And now Carter Linds breathing a sigh of relief, because once again, his
21's
fate
around.
back into the positive side is the 21 into the outside wall, back to the inside, and we are under caution once again for the 21st time this evening.
We made it to lap 200.
Give it up for lap 200. Woo!
Yeah, that's the kind of day it's been so far. Just into turn number 3 and loose. Help once again from the 12, who has been wrong place, wrong time at least 3 times tonight. And around goes the 21. I think it's time we take a quick commercial break here on
I
V-Speed.
believe you're right.
You've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. The Gilby 250 presented by Chapman Environmental Services will be back right after this.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Back here, high above the Martinsville Speedway for the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Here on V-Speed with my partner Alex Gagnon, I've been Morgan Cook. So far tonight, we just passed lap 200 in this caution-filled race, 21 of them so far. 9 lead changes to go with it. And a ton of playoff implications all the way throughout this event. If you like what you've seen so far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action that you can't get anywhere else. You found us, you found the channel, you found the video. You might as well stick around a while longer. But it has definitely been one of the races of all time.
It absolutely has been, and we still have just under 50 laps to go to add to the legacy that will be the Gilby 250 when it's all said and done.
What an apt name.
Thorpe, Trevor Keith. Gonna roll off on the front row this time. This time, though, it's gonna be the 77. He's gonna be able to control the restart. And the leaders had pretty good success with it so far, as you see the 84 and the 22 continue to try and get as much damage repair on that car as possible. Just barely beating out the pace car lap after lap here.
Travis Gilbert is a lap down, the only car 1 lap down. Another caution would, in fact, change that. To the restart zone. 77, big jump. Will clear easily. Burns alongside Keith for second. Can Keith get around him? He's got the position. Here comes Carter Linz, the other driver who needs a win here tonight. 15 will clear.
Carter Lynn's got a little bit of Jeremy Burns there in 3 and 4. You can tell he's driving it hard. Locks it up in 1 and 2, pushes him and the 9 up the track. Boy, Lynn's is really going for it right now. He would be the last driver to make it in on points if these results were to hold, if Thorpe is able to win this race. But you know, with Trevor Keith lurking there in second, definitely not really in a position to take anything for chance right now. Looks like Justice Murphy trying to get back onto the track here from pit road. And I think that'll score him a lap down as well now.
Right on board here with your second place driver, Trevor Keith. Oh, and the caution
Kyle
zone.
Diaz is around in turn 4. Chris Nail also in there.
I was just about to say, while we have a green flag moment, but that moment went away quickly. Caution 22 of the day. This is officially the most caution-laden race I have been a part of. Unfortunate title to hold.
I will say both congratulations and I'm sorry.
It is what it is. So
26
got loose on the curb, de-wedged the car, and got hit by Nail. Oh, Chris Nail. Oh, no. You gotta hate that for him. He just got back. He's 12 laps down. Just trying to finish this race, and another incident for him. See a few drivers trying to get back on the racetrack. You mentioned the 12 who's going to blend up in line. And right in front of him, on the left side of your screen, around goes the 26, and boom. Into the right front tire he goes.
Sounds like the drivers are getting a little bit restless as well. Pretty sure I just heard one of them barking a second ago, so if that gives you any indication on where the mental headspace is at for some of the drivers marked a little deeper in traffic here with 40 laps to go. I don't know what does.
You know what? We haven't had enough Burns time yet today. Let's bring Jeremy Burns up here in the V-Speed booth, have a chat with the driver who will for sure be racing next week for a championship. Jeremy Burns, it's Morgan and Alex up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, as I mentioned, we hadn't have enough Burns time yet today. Haven't been up front nearly as much as we expected you to be. Obviously, you've locked into next week. I'm being a little bit short because it's been a long one so far. What's it been like out there on the racetrack tonight?
It's been absolutely crazy, but we put ourselves in a good position. Right now, we have enough fuel to make it to the end, so just kind of biding our time, seeing what we can do here, seeing what we can do to help Caleb out, and see what we can do to get him into the next round. But as of right now, just kind of waiting and trying to make sure that we choose right, try and make sure that we restart right, and try and make sure that we do everything right and put ourselves in the best position to get a good finish here.
Right on. Well, while we got you up here, I know we don't have a long time, but I saw you had the phone out. Anyone you want to shout out while we got you up here?
Yeah, I got my list here. My mom and dad, Josie, Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, Julie, Dare, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, Betty, Colleen, any of the supporters, the team, obviously, and all the sponsors tonight. I got Gilby was a sponsor tonight, so huge shout out to him, and hopefully we can get him into the Final Four.
Right on. Thanks for your time, Jeremy. We'll put you back down in your Element X channel as you race for a team championship as well tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is Jeremy Burns, driver number 9 here tonight.
Looks like a lot of cars were trying to get back shorted coming off of pit roads. They actually extended the caution by a lap here to make sure the field's actually set to get racing. And that'll be another lap led for our boy in the pace car. Do we know the name of the pace car driver?
Well, the pace car driver typically is Jeff Bodine. I don't know if iRacing has Jeff Bodine as the pace car, or else he must be on one heck of a retainer. Let's call him Jeff. How's that?
Call him Jeff. All right. Tell you what, Jeff, he's had no time to break into the Fritos tonight. He's just been constantly doing laps out there. He keeps thinking about all the snacks he could be having, you know, the Doritos and the Salt and Vinnies and the Fritos on pit road and the beef jerky to go with it, and all of it remains unopened.
Sitting in the passenger seat, unfortunately for him.
Maybe he just cracked the beef jerky bag open a little bit so the whole car smells delicious right now, and he's been able to do nothing about it.
Unfortunate break for the pace car driver tonight. We're about to go back racing. Thorpe and Keith on the front row, slow roll into the restart zone. We're going to get it back rolling again. Caleb Gilbert finds himself back up in the top 6. I don't know how he does it. Going to get into the side of the 27 there ever so slightly as Rob Rader is falling back through the field. He's on pit road, in fact. Might have had enough of this one. Also could have got that incident limit. That could have been part of it as well.
Certainly could have been part of it, as there was a little bit of turmoil.
Oh, there goes Burns. He just turned Linz.
Oh, Linz is around. Oh, no. That is going to be devastating
and he got
Carter
hit by
Linz.
Loveland as well. Oh, man. Oh, big crash. 22's in it. 41 as well. Oh, my goodness.
I think there was 2 separate incidents that happened on the same side of the speedway, but that is going to really jeopardize the 66 chances of advancing, because all of a sudden that drops them right back into this points battle with the 22, and yeah, the 9 just got a piece of them going into 3.
Now what happened with the 41? Erhardt around with Alves. Alves gonna hit the tow button. Loveland's in it as well. Let's go back and see what happened to the 41, who was clean for most of this race. Got tagged in one with the Candyman. Oh, there goes the 1 around as well. Little half slide.
Yeah, I was just about to talk about Robinson right before that caution, because I saw he was doing a little bit of off-roading, and then it just falls apart here, and I think it's because the 41 tried slowing down a hair to get down and away.
Yeah, Alves got him.
Got tagged.
Alves got him for sure.
It sounds like the 02 is out of the car here officially. James Loveland out of the vehicle.
V-Speed's very own will not be able to finish this one tonight.
Sounds like Daniel Holloway also out of the car.
Yeah, we have a number of drivers who have elected to leave the session. Nick Alves, Daniel Holloway, James Loveland, Dylan Picklesheimer have all left.
Well, I also wonder if it's because they've hit their incident number.
That might be something to do with it. Chris Nail continues to soldier on. He is 22nd. Joe Joya is 24th, 13 down. Michael Bennett, 42 down in 25th. Christopher Schaefer, Alex Forget have also left the session. So your top 15 on the lead lap: Justice Murphy, Travis Gilbert, Kyle Diaz, 1 lap down. We talked about Carter Lins. He is currently 14th. Still 3 ahead of Travis Gilbert. I think, is that not what he needs?
That is exactly what he would need. That would give him a +1 advantage right now over the 22. Very notably, though, the 22 not on the lead lap.
That's right.
He can only gain 1 more position on track at the moment, but that 1 position would tie them in the points if my math is correct. So
and where do we
there
sit
is
on
still
tiebreakers?
a lot to fight for.
Where are we at on tiebreakers?
So it would be the top result of the round,
right,
which I cannot confirm just yet, but I will look that up because it looks like we might need it.
To the internet. Sim Racer Hub, thank you for all that you do for sim racing. Definitely helping us out here. And if you haven't already on V-Speed, make sure to check out the Tuesday night Sim Racer Hub series. Gen 4, if I'm not mistaken. Bradley Cooper has the call. Like, you're there as well, are you not, Alex? Yeah, look at that.
That is my other V-Speed league. I cover Sim Racer Hub Tuesdays and get to hang out with you here on Racing Rev on Wednesdays.
Look at you. So you get the 2 busiest V-Speed producers back-to-back nights. How exciting for Alex.
It is very exciting. It lets me take a bit of a chill pill because I know everyone else will be busy enough.
One more restart here. Highline going to get that jump. To sail it off into turn number 1. Under 30 laps remain in this one in Martinsville. Trevor Keith not out of it yet. He's been spun around. He's gone to the back. He's gone to the front. And there goes the 48 in front of the field. Bresnock's in it too. It's a parking lot.
Big one.
It's a parking lot. Oh no. That's half the field involved. 39 still rolling backwards.
What a mess.
Oh boy. Well, let's check it out.
Let's do that indeed. That was the big one at Martinsville.
Yeah, it started off with the 48, bottom of your screen. Just got loose right there. Bresnock into his door, Richardson into him. 53's around.
Involved, Robinson.
12's
Travis
in it
Gilbert and Carter Lynn sneak on by.
39
critical
just
for their chances to advance.
39 doing what I call the reverse Olympics. Trying to see who or how well he can drive that thing in the wrong
I've
direction.
got a really this will roll your eyes, but he was doing his best impression of if Alan Kowicki could do the moonwalk.
Yeah, we're not going to touch that one. That's nope.
That's how you can tell it is getting too late up here in the
man.
V-Speed.
Rob Rader is at the incident limit. Justice Murphy's at the incident limit. 17th and 18th. So Justice Murphy effectively eliminated from the playoffs. He will not race for championship next week. Oh boy.
So here's something to note, because you were asking about where people were sitting points-wise with tiebreakers between Carter Lynns and Travis Gilbert.
That's right.
Especially because they now run 8th and 9th on track.
They do.
Gilbert, if my math is correct, has a 1-point advantage if the 8th and 9th place situation were to hold, but the 22's back on pit road. So that'll subsequently change again. So tiebreaker, if I am familiar with it enough, is your top finish from the round.
That's right.
Which would be Vegas, Homestead, and this race here.
Right.
Both of their best finishes so far are third.
Okay.
Lynn's finished third at Vegas.
Right.
And the 22 finished third at Homestead.
Second
the
best
next
finish.
best finish.
Yeah.
would be here. Linz finished 8th at Homestead. He's also currently running 8th right now. Travis Gilbert finished 25th at Vegas because of that incident with Forget coming to the stage break.
Right.
So, right now, the tiebreaker, very tentatively speaking, hangs in the balance for the 66.
Yeah, you see the tiebreaker would be Carter Linz.
Also, Devin Hudgens was parked up in the outside wall there. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, he is. Oh, he's having some connection issues with the VR headset. Oh, no. Oh, that's devastating. He has now removed himself from the racing surface. I'm just watching the driver cam here. I think the headset has had enough.
I mean, to be fair to the headset, that thing's probably been on for the better part of 3 hours and change between the practice session, qualifying, and now the race, which has been ongoing for a few hours now.
Definitely, yeah. We are, for those of you who stuck with us the entire time, we appreciate you. It's been 2 hours and 12 minutes so far in this one. Thanks for sticking with us. We still got just over 20 laps remaining to determine the final four.
We are no closer to doing that than we were at the start of this race.
No, we are
with
not.
The way they run right now.
It's as good a guess as anyone's guess. Yeah, I don't know. We've lost all the phrases. The analogies are gone. The cliches are just all mixed up. Yeah, we're doing our best up here.
We are certainly giving it a go.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
You know, we're looking at the way this is shaping up. About 20 laps to go. 14 cars remain on the lead lap. Travis Gilbert on the lead lap again for the first time in probably about 50 laps or so. Currently scored 13th. Carter Linz currently scored 7th.
Remember, Trevor Keith in a must-win. Caleb Gilbert is in a must-win. The other must-win driver off the racetrack, out of the race. That's Justice Murphy. He will finish 18th. Potentially worse if Chris Neal carries on here tonight.
It's all coming down to this.
Potentially the final restart of the night. The 24th restart of the night. Thorpe is away. Keith right behind him. And look at Kevin Orlando. I haven't seen the starry 27 up this high in the field yet.
Choosing a great time to make it happen is the 27 of Orlando Jr. Right now battling with Burns for P3. They're door-to-door going into turn 1. Neither side giving each other any room.
Burns going to get that spot off at 2. Harrison making a great rebound as well. Remember, he's leading the OMT charge. And along with Linz, this is going to be a very tight battle, considering Rader is out of the race for the team championship.
Yeah, that is going to really change the situation here. OMT.
Who is
now
the third
Linz and Harrison,
OMT driver?
The third OMT driver, I believe.
Kevin Orlando Jr.
They're 4, 5, 6. Oh, Harrison's around.
Harrison
45,
is around.
Sideways and in the wall. Just as we were
this.
talking about OMT getting 4th, 5th, and 6th.
This changes everything once again.
And now, with our 25th caution of the evening, give it up for the quarter century mark. This is now officially the most cautions I've had in a broadcast I've done in my career. So dubious records being set here for both the folks.
Oh, he just overcooked it into the corner, locked up the rear tires, took the 1 with him. Round goes to 45. So what that does, for those of you who are unaware of the team points, let's talk about those for just a second. Team points, from my understanding, each driver has 3 to 4 drivers. Sorry, each team has 3 to 4 drivers. They take the best 3 drivers, where they finished in points, do some sort of metric, tally them together, and that's how you end up with your team points. So the 45, the 27, and the 66 on a team, the 9, the 54, and the 53 on a team. With where they're running right now, I believe OMT would have enough to overtake the 2-point deficit they had coming into the race and surpass Element X for that team championship. That's going to be confirmed during our post-show. Figure out exactly who wins that team championship. But for now, the OMT guys have to stay in the race. Rob Rader did them a bit of a solid by leaving the race early, and Joe Joy is about to get a spot. He is another OMT driver, although not going to be counting for the points tonight. He is 1 lap away from passing Rob Rader. In fact, 10 seconds as they run on track. This is interesting stuff here. The points very fluid for all the championships here tonight.
It truly is. And I'm looking, I keep coming back. While Grant Thorpe holds the lead, that does mean that last spot will be decided on points. So my eyes keep going back to the 66 and the 22. Carter Lynn's currently 4 positions up on Travis Gilbert. That's 4 points. And they only needed, I think, 2 to hold serve to advance to the championship 4. So right now, Carter Lynn's by a slim margin holding on to that final transfer spot, but nothing is safe at the moment for the 66 because Trevor Keith continues to run in second where he's been for about the past 60 or so laps. And if he finds his way around Grant Thorpe and wins from below the cut line, it'll be him and the 77 advancing, and it doesn't matter what the 66 or the 22 will do.
Precarious times for your playoff drivers. They all find themselves in the top 8. All the ones left running, that is.
Which is, at this point, I believe, only 5 of them. Oh, sorry, 6 of them. 6 of the 8.
Pace car will dive off to pit road. Grant Thorpe will lead them in the restart zone. He may have clinched most laps led as well. I'll check that once we go back racing. 15. Not a great jump. Burns going to get to his outside, might even clear him.
That is something that the 15 can ill afford. He's had a hard enough time getting up to the lead. If he falls back to third, it's going to make it that much tougher with only a few laps to go.
Oh, he
Drives
turned
it in real
Burns.
deep. Oh, and he got a piece of him.
Burns is around in front of the field.
No.
And he catches his teammate on the way by.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
It
Travis
is
Gilbert
getting
eliminated from the race.
Oh, boy.
The 22 will not run in your final 4. Wow. That
Devastating.
that is not what I was expecting. Okay. Jeremy Burns, I believe, has to do a pass through here. Let's check out this caution. The 26th one of the day.
Boy, that inside line got really stacked up behind the 27. Doesn't really have anything to do with the caution per se, just a note.
Under 10 laps to go here in this race. You saw it right there, just a little bit of a wash up for the 15, nothing intentional. Unfortunately, Burns on the wrong end of it, and he caught his teammate. And then it was actually Caleb Gilbert into the side of Travis Gilbert. That might have been the moment that knocked the 22 out. And Travis Gilbert's fallen down now to 15th position.
And that is also off the lead lap, so.
Well, he's parked now, so he can only lose spots. He cannot gain any. He's got 2 drivers. Chris Nail will for sure catch him. Joe Joya will not unless we go to overtime, which at the state of this race, I would be surprised if we didn't have overtime. So potentially 2
that
more
also
to lose
now
for Travis
means,
Gilbert.
Yeah, that also now means that Carter Lynn's points-wise will be safe, barring no new winners from below the cut line. But that is very much a key asterisk here, with Trevor Keith still running 2nd and Caleb Gilbert still running 6th. Grant Thorpe, though, he was going to probably be good on points either way, but he really might make a statement here today to hold on and win his way in the championship 4 versus just making it in on points.
If he wins this race, I promise I will get your name right when you cross the start-finish line. Remember back to Pocono, I called him the wrong Grant. I called him Grant Turner, not Grant Thorpe. So we're going to try and correct that if he's able to complete this win, which let's check how many laps he's led. We said we were going to do that. 44 of them, which I don't know if that's the most. I don't think that could be the most.
It actually might be the 15. He's
15.
right around that number as well.
51. Yep, good call. Good call.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different leaders today, lead for prolonged periods of time. 22 also had a lot in the early going.
So the 84 as well. So Burns lead a good number around in the 30s somewhere.
I believe Hudgens got up to the low 40s as well. So it's been really mixed up at the front. But that's also been because of just the amount of attrition we've seen. Only 11 cars remain on the lead lap. And when we go racing again, it is only going to be 6 laps that go from Martinsville. Oh, what a launch from the 77.
Easily going to clear. Trevor Keith is going to have to do some work.
Oh, he got really loose out of turn two.
He has the he's
no.
got a pit for the pass through. Oh no.
Oh no.
There goes the 39 around. That could save him. That might be the moment he needed.
Out.
5 laps
actually,
to go.
I think, gonna trap the 15 back on the lead lap.
I think that's exactly what he needed. Was that caution to come out? Oh my goodness. How the tables have turned.
Hey, how does a little Racing Rev overtime sound after the war of attrition that it's been?
That I'm not terribly surprised by that. And around the 39 goes on his own. Harmless self-spin. Self-slide really never did spin. That replay button's going to work out today. So Grant Turner going to retain 10th. There are only 11 cars on the lead lap. Trevor Keith still on that lead lap. I'm not sure if that will count as a completed pass-through or not.
That's an interesting question. I do not know.
I think
he went to go serve it.
Most of the time,
it's not his fault that the caution came out.
That would count as a completed pass-through. We'll have to see on the restart if he decides to dive it down again or not. But he has to win this race regardless. And with 3 laps to go from 11th, that we've only seen it happen once this year on a short track, and that was the opener at the Clash. And if you remember who won that, it was Grant Turner. When literally the entire field crashed in front of him. I would not be surprised if that happened tonight, just based on how things have gone. But on a more serious note, up at the front, Grant Thorpe is your leader. Could punch his ticket here in just a few laps. Kevin Orlando Jr. racing for a win, be his first of the season. Carter Lynn's trying to get in. He can get in on points, I believe. He is in that position since Travis Gilbert is now 15th and can no longer race in this one. Christian Bresnak looking for his season best finish of the year here. Caleb Gilbert needs to win to get in. Tyler Harrison trying to win that team championship. Kyle Diaz and Brandon Richardson trying to get some of their season best finishes of the year here. We got Jeremy Burns trying to win for what seems like the 100th time this year. And Grant Turner was the latest caution. He is in 10th right now. Chris Nail has now passed Travis Gilbert for 15th, moving the 22 back 1 more position.
It also now opens up the door for potentially Joe Joya to get around the 22 as well.
He's 3 laps away.
Lap there.
2 laps away, apologies. 2 laps away from passing Travis Gilbert if the 17 can keep it rolling.
So the question is, is it 3 attempts or unlimited attempts?
We have, let's bring up the analysis. It's on there.
Yeah.
We have 2 green white checker attempts.
Well,
this one is not a natural. We have actually just crossed the scheduled distance of 250 laps. We're working 251 right now. So we'll have this green white checker and potentially 1 more. For those of you who are not aware, Barney the flagman will wave the green flag. Drivers must come around to complete that lap. Once they catch the white flag, the next flag ends the race, caution or checker. If we do not complete that first green flag lap, we will re-rack them and do it for the final time and have the final restart of the day. But it could be this one right here. This could determine who races for a championship next week. Thorpe, once again, with a great launch. Lynn's behind him, doing everything he needs to do to make it. 2 more laps.
Good launch there from the 77. Will they be able to get around to take the white flag?
So
Looks like
far,
they're going to
so
be good up front.
I hear a caution. I hear someone spun around.
The
Here
caution.
it is.
Yeah. Oh,
It did just come out.
They didn't make it.
They didn't get it.
They did not make it to the line.
They were about 40 feet short. And
40
Tyler Harrison.
sounds generous.
And Tyler
It might have
Harrison
been 20.
is around again. That's going to kick Grant Turner and Kyle Diaz from the session, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back.
I believe you're right.
See what happened there. Oh, yes. That's, let's go back a little further, perhaps. Oh, boy. We're talking 5th spot right now.
Yeah. This was running inside the top 5.
From high above here in the V-Speed blimp. Yes, we have a blimp as well.
We've got that kind of resources here.
Yeah, the 26 just kind of missed the corner.
Yeah.
Up into the 45 and the 9. Turner hard into the outside wall. I think that was a motor blown actually for the 39, which is why he's off the racetrack. Yeah, that thing it lost the magic smoke. And Diaz has parked it as well. Back to the live shot. One more attempt at the green-white checker, meaning we are going to finish with 28 cautions tonight. Because the next one will be a checker.
If anyone was remembering back to the start of the show when the provisional line was set at 27.5,
wow.
we have hit the over an all-time bad beat in Racing Revs.
I cannot believe that the V-Speed odds makers were so close with the number. That's unreal.
That's insane.
Wow, 28 cautions.
It's been a time. And I'm looking at this field, Morgan, and all of a sudden it becomes not a mathematical impossibility for Trevor Keith to get back up there as well. We see, obviously, Caleb Gilbert in a must-win situation running 5th. But 3 spots gained there for the 15 puts him back up to 8th.
That's right. It's not impossible, but it's a stretch. It's a stretch.
What is the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series ruling on the Hail Melon?
Well, I'll tell you what. The Hail Melon will not work here anymore. After that happened 2 years ago, iRacing decided that this wall is now made of glue. And if you attempt to do that, you will stall out about halfway through the corner and it'll tear up the right front suspension. I've seen drivers try. I saw a driver go from 5th to 25th attempting the Hail Melon on the final lap. So, would not advise. Good question, though.
Yeah, just figured I'd put that out there just in case. You never know what you might see.
The C-Bell version, that might work. But the original Hail Melon, that is not going to be on the docket here today.
I tell you what, I know that they're racing for a win here between Thorpe and Linz, but got to make sure you get to the end of this race.
Yeah, this is where you just got to be smart.
Potentially jeopardize yourself. Yeah.
And Trevor Keith up to 5th spots, 3rd on the high line, and don't forget, Caleb Gilbert is in this as well.
Yeah, he is right there, 3rd on the inside line.
All right, for the final time today, we're going to go green here. Flagman going to wave that green flag into the restart zone. Thorpe with another great launch. Linz did not go.
66 had a horrible time getting going. He's going to lose a ton of track position to the 77. And Grant Thorpe going into 3 and 4 for the final time potentially this evening.
And finally, the white flag by Erhardt Holmes. Love where you live. It's out. Driver not around in the back. I saw a car spun. But Thorpe has the advantage over Linz. Linz trying to get it from him. One last dive into turn number 3. And the checker flag is going to be captured by the checkered car. It's Grant Thorpe here at Martinsville. I said I'd get it right.
There you go, and you got it indeed. Tell you what, great drive for Grant Thorpe. Punches his ticket to the championship 4. That car right behind him, though, the 66 of Linz. Boy, does that thing Looked like it went through a war tonight to try and advance to the round of 4.
There were about 26 cars in this race. Looked like they just went through a war. Unbelievable.
Surprisingly, though, the 77 looks pretty clean.
He's got a little
He
dent
might
on
be
the
the
right
only
front,
guy.
but that's it.
Yeah.
And I believe that OMT will be your team champion. We'll have to get that confirmed. But what we know for sure, Grant Thorpe just punched his ticket. He was going to make it on points anyway, but now can say he won twice this season. As he punched his ticket here at Martinsville. Once he burns it down a little bit more, we'll chat with your winner here at Martinsville. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Let's go grab him here.
Alrighty, pulling him into the booth.
Grant Thorpe. It's Morgan and Alex up here. In the booth, you got a copy.
I gotcha.
Wow. You mentioned surviving when you were up there in second. You thrived a little bit in this one. You went up there and stole the lead from, I think it was Keith. I don't quite remember. And held on to it for 61 laps to win for the second time this season. Punch your ticket to the Final Four. What's going through your head right now?
Time to get to work. Start practicing Phoenix. I know a couple of the other guys who are already locked in are pretty strong there. Rob in particular being 3-time defending champion. So gonna have to figure something out and try to dethrone Mr. Raider.
Absolutely, and that Burns guy is pretty good too. Still trying to sort out who the other driver in is. I believe it's Carter Linz will be. You're the keeper of the points. I imagine you'll be tallying that here shortly. But
yeah, I'm like 99% sure it's Carter, but I'll have to go tabulate that as quick as I can.
Yeah, crazy stuff here. Well, we'll keep this interview as short or as long as you want to make it. Crazy race. We had 28 cautions, I believe, just over the prescribed 27 and a half that the V-Speed odd makers cooked up for this one. Just what do you have to say about this race as a whole?
I really hate that there are that many cautions. We couldn't get more green flag racing, but it is what it is. I was fortunate enough to be able to pit when I did, have some fresh tires, and work my way through.
Yeah, definitely had the right strategy here today. We mentioned that you are the king of fuel mileage, also the king of the pit strategy here tonight. Had the right one. You had the oldest tires on the racetrack, and you ended up making it work. So congratulations, Grant. I called you by the right name this time as you crossed the line as well, so you can, thumbs up for that.
Appreciate it.
While we have you up here, who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out for this race here tonight at Martinsville?
Teammates out at TriStar. Unfortunately, we were only able to have one other guy make it out here tonight. So Christian had a pretty strong finish. I believe he finished 4th. So congrats to him. I wish could have gotten him on the podium, get him up here in the booth with you guys. But fortunate. But top 4 is awesome. I'm happy to have that good of a run today. And of course, you guys. You guys do a great job every week. So we appreciate you.
Right on. We'll appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Mr. Martinsville winner Grant Thorpe, add the second one to the collection this season, and we'll see you race for championship next week at Phoenix.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
You bet. That's your winner tonight, Grant Thorpe. And with that interview, we are going to step away. You have just finished the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The Gilby 250 presented by Chapman Environmental Services. 260 laps is what it took to get the job done here tonight. We'll be back right after this with your race result, interviews with second and third, and potentially the team champion winning team, which we will confirm during the break. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here on V-Speed for the conclusion, the post-show of the Gilby 250 presented by Chapman Environmental Services. Here's how it went down. 28 cautions in what could only be described as a bit of a sloppy show here at Martinsville. 9 lead changes. Grant Thorpe, victorious, punches his ticket to the championship 4. Carter Lynn's going to do the same on points, we are pretty sure. Kevin Orlando Jr. going to finish in 3rd. Christian Bresnock with, I believe, his season best of 4th. Caleb Gilbert leading the Element X charge in 5th. Jeremy Burns alongside him in 6th. Trevor Erhardt going to finish in 7th after going from the back to the front multiple times. Richardson in the 8 was one of the first cautions, ends up finishing in 8th. Well done. Good perseverance for him. Matt Robinson going to finish in 9th today. Trevor Keith will round out your top 10. Finishing 11th tonight, Tyler Harrison. Parker Johnson going to finish in 12th. Grant Turner 13th. Now we're starting to get into drivers who had the incident limit imposed on them. Kyle Diaz in 14th. Chris Nail in 15th. Joe Joya. Travis Gilbert. Devin Hudgens. Rob Rader. And Justice Murphy are your top 20. 21st was Nick Alves, Daniel Holloway, the Candyman. 22nd, V-Speed's own James Loveland in 23rd. Dylan Picklesheimer, early exit. He finishes 24th. Bennett, 25th. Schaefer, after what was a pretty solid run, finishes in 26th. And Forget did not make it many laps before he had the right rear lock up. He will finish 27th here this evening. Now we're going to have an interview with second and third both from OMT Racing. Alex is standing by with Carter Linz.
Hey there, Carter. You got a copy?
Right here.
Gutsy performance tonight, I think, is the way to sum up at least where you finished. The actual race itself, maybe used as a different descriptor word, but talk to us a little bit about your night. You were battling for points all night, it felt like, with the 77 and the 22, and then comes down to it late, and you find yourself right up front with a position to make something happen and try and lock yourself into the championship 4. Don't know officially if you have, but I'm pretty sure you did.
I think I'm right there with you. I think I just points alone there. There's a couple of cars I just had to be aware of, and I knew Grant was the one, Grant Thorpe there that won. Congratulations to him. He was the one that I knew. He was just there right in front of me where I didn't really need to push the fence too hard to take that win from him. I just needed to play it safe and stay alive there to the end. But no, coming into this night, I mean, everyone knows it's Martinsville. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. And no one say having that incident limit and all that set in place, let's say it really comes down to battle of attrition. You just got to survive all the way to the end. And I somehow managed to avoid almost all of the cautions tonight. Unfortunately, got caught up in one or two of them and somehow managed to just fight my way, just continue to climb and somehow finish up here where I did tonight.
And to that point, I mean, this playoff run for you, I feel like has been truly some great stuff to watch. I mean, just consistently up in the top 10 week after week after week when it matters. Looking at this round, I mean, a third, an eighth, and a second. Just gritty run to the championship. Is that how you feel, or do you feel like this is the pace you've had all year and just didn't have a chance to showcase it in the early races?
No, definitely early in this year. I mean, there was a point where I was questioning if I was even going to have a shot. I mean, I was just getting involved in wrecks. I just always somehow found myself in the middle of all the cautions there at the beginning of the season, and then I had a good break there. I think it was at Richmond. I finished top 5. That was my first real break in the season where I had something good happen to me, and then that following week I won Texas, and then from there it just kind of, I don't know, I just had a change of mindset where I knew I was in the playoffs, but I still was fighting to basically put on a show, continue to fight for top 10s, top 5s, even podiums. And really, when it came down to the playoffs, I mean, I just kicked it up a gear. Just, I got to do whatever I can to survive.
And that is coming across in the best way possible. Week in, week out, you're giving yourself a chance, and each time the order's been due, you've been able to advance to the next round. You'll be fighting for a championship next week at Phoenix, I believe. Again, very, very unofficially, but I feel pretty confident in that sense. How do you feel about Phoenix? How do you feel about your odds?
I know Jeremy, Rob, those guys, that it don't matter what track you put them on, they're always fast. I know strategy game, I know Grant is probably the best in the league when it comes to strategy. So if it comes down to that, it's going to be a battle. And I mean, to be honest, where I'm at, I don't know. It's going to be a real big uphill battle. And Jeremy and Rob have been dominating almost the whole season. Yeah, no, going back to Grant, yeah, no, he is a very good strategic driver when it comes down to that mindset. And I don't know, I don't want to say I Mickey Mouse my way in here, but I was going to say, no, I feel like I fought hard for it, and I just got to go in next week, treat it like another race, don't get caught up in anything, and hopefully come out with the championship.
Well, we are excited to see what you'll bring to the table next week. You and the remaining Championship 4 drivers. Carter, congrats on the run today. Congrats on the playoffs to this point. You've done what you needed to do to give yourself a chance, and that's all anyone can ask for, I'm sure, going into Phoenix next week. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
Oh, I want to shout out you guys, V-Speed, first of all. Every week, it don't matter what league you guys are doing. It's always an amazing production. You guys are always great. Always fun to talk to you guys up here. Shout out Racing Revolution. Every week in and out, all the guys here are great. Everyone's always respectful at the end of the day. Everyone's always fun to. Everyone's always great to race around and all that. And no, it's always fun being here and being able to be a part of this. I really appreciate that, and I thank them for that. Friends, family, I know a lot of them are watching. I was actually getting a phone call from my brother there. So, Evan, I know you're watching. Hi. My girlfriend, Sarah, she's watching upstairs. She's probably yelling at me right now. So, I'm saying hello to her as well. But yeah, no, hopefully I can talk to you guys next week here.
Well, looking forward to hopefully being able to do the same. Carter, thanks so much for joining us up here in the booth.
Yeah, no,
And,
thank you.
And we'll potentially talk to you next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna look forward to it.
That was second place finisher Carter Linz bringing it home tonight, second in the 66 machine. One spot short of victory, but enough spots ahead, I do believe, to advance to the Championship 4.
Before we talk to Kevin Orlando Jr., I want to make note the iRacing pace car driver's name is Benny. Apologies, Benny. Nickname is Jeff, probably. But Benny led the most laps here tonight. Congratulations to him.
Did.
Really clutch performance from the pace car driver.
I don't know if 5 is the laps that for every caution, but if it was, he would have led about 150 laps tonight.
Yeah, it was a good effort for him here tonight. But you have caught a ride with Benny over to Kevin Orlando Jr. in third place. Let's have a chat with the bottom rung of the podium here tonight.
All righty, let's bring him in to the booth. Hey there, Kevin. You got a copy?
I do. How y'all doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself? Started in the back of the field, worked your way to the front. Then every other car in the field, including yourself, played a little bit of ping pong between the front and the back of the field tonight. But ultimately, when it mattered most, you were able to work your way back to the front. Talk to us just a little bit about your night here and what was a very chaotic race at Martinsville, to say the least.
That's one way to put it. I mean, I got really hopeful. We had a couple longer green flag runs, and I thought that was going to be a sign of the way the race was going to go. But of course, towards the end there, people started losing their heads a little bit, it seemed like, and we just had caution after caution after caution. Lucked out with the timing of the pit stop. Got myself in that first round of pit stops with enough fuel to make it to the end. And it worked out. I was able to just stay where I was, and luckily ahead of most of the mayhem. And that's how it went. I mean, it's Martinsville.
That's a good way to put it. It certainly felt like that. I guess I should also ask you, so obviously, podium finish in the second to last race of the season. Under normal circumstances, I feel like it's something that you can absolutely build off and be like, hey, we're ending the season on a strong note. Do you feel that way with your podium finish, or was this race such, a start and stop sort of event? And do you look at this as a confidence builder going into Phoenix and then subsequently into next season, or is it just a matter of survival and happy to pull out the P3?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Definitely it's hard to take this as a big push with the amount of cars that, had an unfortunate end to their night tonight. A good finish is a good finish, but I mean, if everyone would stop driving into each other, I probably wouldn't have got the finish I had. So a little bit of luck, but of course, I put myself in a situation, so I guess it's not all luck. But yeah, definitely to an extent going to be able to at least take this into next week. Use that as a little motivation to be like, hey, look, we can do it last week at the mess that is Martinsville. We can do it at Phoenix, another short track, another one that's, hit or miss sometimes with the way people race each other, but a lot wider. So we'll take that motivation and through the off season, Going to be getting ready for next season, hoping to come out with some fresh eyes and some fresh motivation to see what we can do next year.
Yeah, and I guess I'll leave it at this. Obviously, still looking for win number 1 on the season, but a good number of top 10s. I think close to 15 or so, about every other race. I've led a good bit of laps. Was in the playoffs. Got through I think a round or so. How do you look at this season as a whole now that it's nearing its conclusion? Is this season a success to you, or are you looking for more coming out of it next year?
It's not a failure by any means. It's about even with what we ended up with last season. Got into the playoffs and got knocked out relatively early last year as well. The middle of the season for me just really did not go well. I started off pretty well and then had a rough patch, and it really brought me down to the bottom half of the standings. Barely made it into the playoffs this year. Barely scraped through into the second round, and at that point, I kind of knew with where we were sitting, it was going to take a race win for me to move on from there, and it just wasn't. It wasn't something that happened. We came close, but wasn't enough. Of course, if the rounds were switched around, I feel like this round went pretty well. I probably could have made it through if the 3 races we just had were the ones in the last round, but we take it as we get it, and every race is a new race. So either way, having fun.
Well, that is the most important thing at the end of the day. Kevin, thank you so much for joining up here in the booth. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
Number one for tonight, I got to thank the team. OMT Racing has put together a fantastic season for us. It's not official yet, but I believe tonight's finishes
It
put
is.
us
It is
in
official.
the win. It is official. They officialized it.
It happened.
English. So, team champions, which is fantastic for a team of mostly rookies, which should put Carter Rookie of the Year, being that he should have, I believe he made it into the Final Four. So all in all, got Carter, Chris, Tyler, and Joe, even though he's not an official member of the team right now, but he's been working with us all season as kind of our trainee driver, and just got a big thanks to them. They've done a great job this season, and I'll be honest, I don't know how he pulled it off when EXR was winning half of the races, but consistency pays off. So on top of that, as always, got to thank the sponsors, Chapman Environmental, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Buttkicker, and All About Bugs. Couldn't do this without their support. So.
Well, Kevin, congrats on the podium tonight. Even bigger congrats for you and OMT for winning that team championship. You just officially heard a 1-point margin of victory, 27-26, to claim the team championship tonight. Congrats to you and the team. Massive accomplishment. And happy for you guys on getting that done and seeing what is to come here in the final race of the year at Phoenix.
Oh yeah, it should be a fun one, and the postseason review, off-season stuff, it's going to really be a nice time to reflect on what we've done this year and what we can do to get it ready for next year.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
And that was Kevin Orlando Jr., podium finisher and driver for the team champion, OMT Racing.
Gonna get a real good seat at the banquet, I would imagine. The
I certainly would
season
imagine.
finale banquet that Racing Revolution must have, I would have to imagine. If they don't, they're going to have one now. But that is going to do it for Martinsville here tonight. The Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The Gilby 250, which was not kind to either of the Gilberts tonight, presented by Chapman Environmental Services. It is finally over. It was definitely one of the races of all time. But your final 4 is set. Burns, Rader, Thorpe, and Linz. Your team champion has been announced, OMT Racing. Congratulations to them on what was a fantastic playoff run. We only got one left. It's Phoenix next week. Please join us November 13th as the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series will crown a champion in Phoenix. At 8:30 p.m. Eastern on V-Speed as we bring you flight-to-flight coverage all season long. And if you enjoyed tonight's race, Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon so you don't miss a moment of the racing action that you can't get anywhere else. For everyone here at V-Speed, Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and my co-commentator Alex Gagnon, I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great evening. Thank you, and good night, everyone.